Hey, everybody. Happy Monday. Welcome to Wise Guys. Dave McCann, Blaine Fowler. This is the first time we've been back together in like 3 weeks.
Yeah, like you were on the road with baseball. I was on the road with work. We just
appreciate Bilo.
Yeah, Bilo did
being here.
Great job for us.
But it's nice to have the band back.
Yeah, no, it's good to be back together. And we had great shows the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, it's been awesome. Hello to everybody on the live stream. Panama right out of the gate. That's a habit now. Arizona's in.
Yeah.
We invite all of you to jump on tonight on our live stream and let us know where you're participating with us from, and we'll see if we can color the world.
Yep, Harriman, Arizona, and Panama, like 3 seconds in, are already all in. So
Wise Guys, the #1 BYU Sports live stream talk show in the world. We say that a lot. I don't know if there's any way you can verify it, but it feels good. And the fact that our live streams from all over the world confirms it.
Yeah, like it truly is all over the world. And I know we passed 5 million impressions. Are we approaching 6?
Well, I'd like to think we are.
So I'd say that's quite a few people checking it out, and they're all over the world, as evidenced by the people that log in. So I think you can pretty confidently say that.
Orem, Utah, just up the road. Rexburg, Idaho. BYU, Idaho was Rick's when I was there.
I don't know if the woo is like, if you're being sarcastic, that it's just Orem, but we're thrilled you're in from Orem. We love it.
All 10 of us McCanns went to Orem High School.
That's right.
That's a big deal for us. Colorado's in the house. It's great to have you with us.
The Outlaw Bandit just said, hey, Dave and Blaine. Hey, Outlaw Bandit. Good to have you in.
That's cool. Hey, follow us on YouTube. We always ask you to do that. Tell your friends, too. Most of you are. We sure appreciate it. And you can get us live on Facebook and Twitch. And, of course, our home base is ysguys.com. That's where our whole library is of all of our guests.
And make sure you subscribe to that, because Dave and I are subscribed, and we get the little buzz updates. And
I like to get an update to know we're on. Hey, we're on.
Absolutely.
So Eric's in from Singapore. Eric, hope all's well with you on a Tuesday morning.
That's right. And if you follow us, you mentioned these interviews. Somebody asked me about it the other day, and so I got out my phone, and we kind of went to the site, and I said, you can come down to here, and it has the names in alphabetical order of the guests that have come on. As we scrolled down through there, she went, oh, wow, I want to listen to that. Ooh.
Yeah.
When did you have her on? Oh, wow, when was he on? And I said, well, here they are. So now you know where to find it. Go in there. And so make sure you get to wiseguys.com, subscribe, get on the site. You can go back and watch whatever video clips you want. And we're talking Steve Young, Danny Ainge, Wally Joyner, Marie Osmond, Jimmer Fredette, who's about to head off to the Olympics here in Paris, Sherry Dew. You name it, they've been on here. We got a great lineup for you.
You know who else has been on the show? Kristen Kozlowski.
Yes, she has.
Who's our colleague from BYU TV. Coming up here in a few minutes, Brody Kowski is going to join us. He's joining the Cougars. We'll talk to him about the new head coach and the coaches, including Chris Burgess back with the program. So stand by for Brody. He's just minutes away.
Then you're going to want to go back and find Kristen Kozlowski in the thing. And hey, and speaking basketball, go back and if you haven't seen that Trevin Nell, Trevin brought his wife with him last week, Tatum. Yeah. And they came on together, and it was really fun to have them on there together. Executive director of the Freedom Festival at Provo Stadium of Fire, our really good friend who we've both known for a long, long time, Jiv Evans, is on the show. He's going to talk to us a little bit about how hard it is to decide on who that headlining band is.
Yeah, Journey, Keith Urban.
I want to know what he said to you.
Jonas Brothers.
To keep you quiet when you already knew who it was, since you're emceeing the event.
Listen, it was just, sometimes you just have to do that.
Yeah.
Former Super Bowl punter, BYU fundraiser, Lee Johnson, Thunderfoot, is going to be with us. We're going to ask him a bunch of stuff. Nebraska, good to have you with us, including the worst weather he ever had to punt the ball in the NFL.
Yeah.
And maybe it was here at BYU too.
Remember, he played for New England for a long time.
Weather day that he had to kick the ball. And I imagine there's going to be some kind of crazy story, maybe unverified, but that's going to be okay.
I don't know. I'm going to ask him this, and I didn't do the research, but I'm pretty sure my top of head research is correct. I think he played more years in the National Football League than any other BYU graduate in history.
I think it was 18 seasons.
Has anybody else been?
The only thing that could have gave him a run was the deep snapper for the Dolphins.
That's true. So you're thinking about Denny.
Ryan Denny. John Denny or Ryan Denny?
I can't remember which. Maybe John. I think John. But anyhow, I think Lee, and he, in fact, may be, and we can ask him this because he will know the answer to this, Lee may be the player from any Utah school that played the longest in the National Football League. I mean, Merlin Olsen played long, but I don't know if he played 18 or 19 seasons like Lee did. That's something special.
Shout out to Alan and Marcy watching from Lake Winnipesaukee. Good to have you on the Wise Guys tonight. Everyone, keep
Are they
letting
really
us
from
know
Lake
where you're from.
Winnipesaukee? Because that's from, I can't remember which movie that's
Does
from.
anyone make that up?
Is a real place? It's a fiction. I thought it was a fictional place in, I don't know which movie, Caddyshack or
I don't know
which one.
Lake Winnipesaukee.
It was Bill Murray said he was from.
What About
it's
Bob?
What About Bob? It was Lake Winnipesaukee. Are you really
Feels
from
like
there?
There's a
I
Lake
need to know if this
Winnipesaukee.
is for real. and if you are, or if we should all just start doing baby steps.
Yeah,
right
let
now.
that wrestle on your conscience, Alan and Marcy. You choose how to answer that how you want. Some basketball news before we bring Brody in. Big 12 moving to 20 conference games this coming season instead of 18. Bill Self, Kansas coach, talked about that late this afternoon. Here at home, Chris Burgess rejoins BYU as an assistant coach. He was on Sports Nation this morning. I thought it was a great interview. He's thrilled to be back. BYU's happy to have him back. Might be the tallest assistant coach in all of college basketball, and that's good when you need some tall guys.
And I'm mad at him because I just saw him like 2 days before they made the announcement in the airport in Las Vegas, and he didn't.
A lot of times people just have to sit on information.
Didn't let on, just like you don't ever.
Sometimes, first of all, sometimes you vault it and you keep it in the vault. But rarely have I left things in the vault.
I'm just kind of mad. I'm mad at you for not telling me who the headliner was. I'm mad at Jim Evans for not telling me who the headliner was. I'm mad at Chris for not letting on at all. He just acted really excited to see me.
Playing it straight.
He played it really straight.
Doug Stewart joins Kevin Young's staff as the chief of staff. That's like the general manager of an NBA team. He comes from the athletic administration at Nevada, and he's got a lot of coaching history himself, but he's like the GM.
Yeah, and he'll run the show, and a lot of great experience. The staff that Kevin Young is assembling is really taking shape. And remember, they still have 3 assistant coaching roles to fill on this staff and a director of basketball operations to fill. So still 4 really important roles to be named, and we have a little insight. Trevin acted like when he was on the show last week, like he knew who they were and that he was really, really excited, and there's some big names and we should be excited, and we'll leave it at that. So.
Lynn's in from Alabama tonight as we scan the countryside.
Is this our first Alabama?
I don't know.
Lynn Flitton from Alabama. Nice to see somebody from Bama.
Hey, today BYU added Idaho to its non-conference schedule. At least that was announced. Not from BYU, but it came from the Idaho side. November 16th at the Marriott Center for basketball. That's the same day as the BYU-Kansas football game, which makes it a doubleheader day for us.
Yeah.
And our BYU TV and
likely,
ESPN Plus duties.
We'll likely call the Idaho game, right?
Yeah.
So we'll be on the air bringing that one to you, and then either before or after.
Hopefully before. Football's earlier.
Right, we'll do football, and we'll do our game day show, so our 2-hour pregame show. We'll do a postgame show. We'll get in a golf cart. They'll take us up to the Marriott Center. We'll have a piece of pizza.
I hope it's heated.
And then we'll call.
Year.
And then we'll call
this time.
Yeah, I think so. And then we'll call the Idaho game. So
that'll be November 16th. So we're hoping it's not an 8 p.m. football game. Let's play that one.
Let's not do that.
Our first guest tonight is the basketball signee, the very first for the new coach, Kevin Young. 6 feet 8 inches tall, 2-time Utah 6A Player of the Year, the son of our BYU TV colleague Kristen Kozlowski and our good friend Travis. Please welcome to the Wise Guys, Brody Kowski. Brody, did you comb your hair for this show, or is that just natural?
It's just natural. I did not comb it.
It just goes like that. So,
Yep.
You know, who was it? The great Rod Stewart. Somebody said, and you're too young, Brody, to know Rod Stewart, but they said, "How do you do your hair?" And he said, "Well, I wash it, I leave the shampoo in, and then I hang upside down until it dries." And yours look like you may have done that.
I saw your prom. I saw your prom pictures since we follow each other on Instagram, and this was the same hairstyle. So I'm figuring it was natural.
Yep.
It looks good. My question is, you're listed at 6'8". That's probably in sneakers, but you might be 6'9.5" with that hair. So
Probably.
It's good stuff. Now, before we get into some hard-hitting questions, does your mom like that hair, or would she wish you would part it and comb it and tie it down?
She wants to cut it. She don't like it like hanging over. She wants it more stylish, like middle part or like combed over. But I ain't gonna do that.
No. Sometimes you can't do what mom says. So and
most of the time you should.
You know, we're close to your mom and we love your mom, but sometimes you just have to do what you want to do. And I think on the hair, you have the right to do what you want to do here.
Yeah.
And now Chris is gonna kill me for saying that, but hey, Brody, your senior year at Corner Canyon almost over, which is crazy. Seems like it flew by. We've been following you closely through your entire high school career. Well,
and life, by the way,
and
like
before
your
that,
whole life.
Your whole life, pretty much. You're the first signee of a new era at BYU, the Kevin Young era. How eager are you to get to BYU and start working with this team?
I'm super excited to get to BYU and start. I think I'm going to be starting in June, so I'm super eager to get on campus and start the trainings and everything with the coaches.
2 coaching changes helped get you here. One at BYU, one at USC. You met Kevin Young for the first time on the night of his introductory news conference. How'd that visit go? You get first chance to make a first impression, and he had the same pressure on him. So how'd that go?
It was great meeting with him for the first time. He was awesome, super genuine, super chill. I feel like he was super straightforward to me on what he saw in me and saw in me as a player. So it was an awesome visit.
You mentioned that you like what he saw in you in a player. We had Trevin Nell on the show this last week, who's going to be your teammate. Well, is your teammate. You're committed now, so he's your teammate. And he mentioned that he and Kevin had a really good one-on-one about what he thought about himself, what Trevin thought his skills were. Kevin gave him an evaluation, and they talked about what he saw as the future and what Trevin could work on and what he could become. Did you talk about all of those things with Coach Young when you had your conversation as well?
Yes, I did.
Tell us about what that went like. What's his vision for you, and what's your vision for yourself after that conversation at BYU?
Yeah, he sees me as a really kind of like a glue guy. Like he sees me being physical. He sees me like going in transition, knocking down threes, coming off screens, setting screens and popping. So he sees all that. He can. I feel like for him, he can develop me into a high-level pro overseas or in the NBA. I think this is a guy that can do that for me, and so I think I can't wait to be coached by him.
You're known, Brody, as a really big time. You talk about being a glue guy, but a big time effort, competitive guy that'll go out there and really get after it. Does that come? I wonder. Does that come from your mom's side? Does that come? Because I know we know your mom, how she was. The Kozlowski side of the family. I know your grandpa Richard really, really well. I know Mike. I played with your uncle Glenn. Glenn's one of the most competitive people I ever met. So this reputation that you have as this crazy competitor, you get more of that from the Kozlowski side, or did your mom bring you that?
I would say a little bit more towards the Kozlowski side. My dad has that fire in him, and I think I kind of got that fire too. But I'm not gonna put my mom aside from that. My mom is very competitive and everything, so it's close. It's kind of both ways.
BYU basketball signee Brody Kowski is on the Wise Guys tonight. Averaged 20.4 points and 8.6 rebounds this past season at Corner Canyon High School. What was it about Coach Young that made you think, hey, BYU's where I want to be?
I think what he saw in me as a player and how he would utilize me and help me develop and grow was a big thing. And then also him creating BYU as an NBA pipeline was a big thing too. So I think that was all great things.
Was there a family element in there too? And we'll talk about this again in a moment, but was there a little bit more than basketball that made you want to play at BYU? I mean, your parents went here. Yeah, Coach has like family of tie lines, of course, past family members going there and everything. And I think the fan base is also a big thing too. There's no one like BYU fans in this whole nation. So just having that support was a big thing too.
You had a great visit with Coach Young, it sounds like. And then you find out a little bit later that Chris Birch is going to join the staff. And I know you had a lot of interaction with Chris, both when you were younger, when he was at BYU, when he was at Utah. You had conversations with him. What did you think about Chris Burgess being added to the staff, and what's your relationship like with him?
I think Chris Burgess is an amazing coach. He did recruit me early on. I think he sees the same things that Coach Young sees. I think he'll develop players really well. I think he's just a big piece to this puzzle. And so I'm excited for all of us coming together collectively as a team, and I'm excited for what we can do in the Big 12.
Yeah, a lot of guys have mentioned that Chris is a great recruiter, but you know who are great recruiters? The guys in the program.
Yeah.
And so you decide you're going to come. You were a USC guy. That coaching staff changes, as Dave mentions, and then all of a sudden you're back out there, and now there's this new staff at BYU, and sounds like they painted the vision of exactly where you felt you would fit. How much do you now get involved with going out and other guys? Because you've played on the national circuit a bunch and have friends all over the country. Do you actively now help in the effort to get other great players to come play with you?
I'm not like actively helping, but I will if they ask me to. I know a lot of people nationally, of course. So if they need me to help, of course, I'll reach out to players that they're interested in. So right now, not really actively trying to recruit any.
Brody, here's a comment on the live stream tonight, which is all over the world. Brody is the most genuine guy you'll ever meet. He works harder than anyone. I know
to improve his game.
Anyone to improve his game. Does that not sound like something your grandfather would say?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
Well, he's on the stream tonight, so you can give him a shout out. The Kozlowski name has been a BYU name. You're related to Glenn, who caught passes from Blaine, the 1984 national championship team. Of course, Kristen, your mom, your dad, Travis, they met at BYU. Kristen's our colleague and has been for a long, long time and will continue to be for a long, long time. So how happy were all of those folks that you finally decided on the blue and white?
They were super stoked, super excited for me and staying close to them. And I think they're just excited for what I can do at BYU and carry on our name. So they're super stoked.
BYU's in the Big 12 now, so it's you're going to make your name at BYU against a higher level of competition than anyone in your family.
Yep. Yes, I will.
Are you excited for that? Will it be what kind of transition from Corner Canyon to say going back to Lawrence and playing Kansas?
Yeah, I'm super excited. It'll be some great atmosphere, some great teams to play, some great competition. Like it's the best in the nation, the competition. So I think that will help me develop as a player and even as a person over the years. So I'm super stoked and excited to get started.
What do you think about you coming in? You're a freshman. You're making this transition from high school to college. How do you envision your freshman year going? Like, what do you think you can contribute right off the bat, and what are your expectations going into this first year?
My expectations is I of course want to play, either coming off the bench or starting. I want to be a physical, very up-tempo guy. I want to push the ball. I want to get rebounds. I want to do all the little things on the court that the coach needs me to do. And so that's a big thing that I want as my goal. So that's my freshman year. I know we're like surrounded by a ton of scorers. So scoring, of course, I'm going to do that as well. But overall, I just want to do all the little things that coach needs me to do.
Well, Brody, we've got 5 little questions that you've got to do first before you can do all of that.
Nobody can come to BYU until they do our 5 questions.
Are you ready?
So this is for
yes,
so folks can get to. Hey, one other thing before we do it, so people get an idea of, because we've watched you really closely, and you're not just a long 6'7", 6'8" guy that can shoot. You're pretty put together. Like your playing weight. What do you expect to play at this fall? When you
are you saying do you say my weight?
Yeah, your weight. What do you think your playing weight? Like, what's your goal in terms of playing weight this fall?
Yeah, so right now I'm like 235. So I'm hoping to be around 230, maybe high 220s. So that's what I'm hoping to get, just be more physical, be bigger body when I get into the Big 12 and everything.
Yeah, that's
your mom's gonna have to cut out sweets at the house
because he wants to be he wants to be a lean 230. But I've been thinking about that. That's a Big 12 body, and that's what Kevin Young, was recruiting when he was looking at Brody. He's like, hey, here's a 6'8" guy that can really shoot it.
Yeah.
But at 230 and lean, he can go bang and rebound and do all the things he's going to need to do because this is a league with big guys. And so, yeah, that's fun. I just want people to understand that you're not just a tall guy, you're also a big physical guy, and that's going to be fun to have in the program. So now we can go to our 5 questions. And you're not even you can't even think about these. You just have to go with whatever.
And we're writing them down, so we'll reference them later.
I forgot to go pull Kristen's and see what hers is.
We'll figure it out. Okay.
Your favorite sports movie?
Remember the Titans, I'd say.
Oh yeah,
that's
our number one pick from all of the hundreds of guests that have been on. Your favorite singer or band?
Ooh. I'm not really a band guy. I'm more like an artist. I like Drake, and then I also like Morgan Wallen and like country artists. I like a lot of country artists.
So you're eclectic. That's a good one. You Drake, who's awesome, and then more in the hip hop, R&B, and then you got Morgan Wallen country. This is nice. Yeah, it's good. Okay, I'll go with either of those. Your favorite breakfast cereal?
Cinnamon Toast Crunch. My favorite.
Mm-hmm. Now, do you finish the box or do you let your brothers have some?
Oh, I finished it. Yeah. They can't have any.
That sounds about right. When you're 6'8", 240, that sounds about right.
Okay, your favorite basketball moment of your entire career?
I think winning state my junior year was one of my favorite moments, and also going to the Nationals in Washington, D.C. Those are two of my favorite moments, and that was super fun.
Nice. Okay, this is probably the most important question of all the 5 questions. Your favorite advice that your mom ever gave you?
Keep your arm up on your shot. Like, don't put it down. She always says that. And
what is she talking about?
Does she nag you with that one? Like, what are you doing? Keep your arm up. Let's go. Keep your arm up.
She always says that on my shot. So if I put it down, I kind of get tripped at for doing that, because that's most like the time I'm shorting it or it's going long. So just hold my follow through. She's always saying that.
Keep your arm up. Okay.
So after your shots at BYU, we're going to see you just leave your arm up.
We're going to see this beautiful high finish where it just comes off of his fingertips, and then he keeps that hand high and the ball goes in. That's what we're going to see.
All right, we're looking forward to that.
Coached up by mom. That's great.
Brody, we're going to probably interview you so many times before your BYU career is over. We're just glad we started with this one officially, and we look forward to calling your games and having a good time. Finish up. Enjoy graduation. We'll see you down here in next month. How about that? Next month's June, so we'll see you back down here next month.
Yep, that sounds great. Thank you for having me on.
You bet. Everybody's excited to have you down here. Thanks, Brody.
Say hi to your folks. That's the great Brody Kowski, and he's gonna bring some outside shooting, a physical presence even to the outside, and then he can take it in.
It's like, if you think about what Kevin Young did, and like, he was still coaching the Phoenix Suns at the time. They come up, they announce him as the head coach. He has a press conference, and immediately within one day, while they're still getting ready for the playoffs, reaches out to every one of the players that are in the portal and the top recruits and has one-on-ones with them. First thing he does is he secures Richie Saunders and Dallin Hall, and they're back in the fold. They're in. And then he goes and gets the top recruit in the state of Utah, who had previously committed to USC, and there was a coaching change, and he gets him to commit immediately. You think about that in a couple of days. That is a phenomenal job by Kevin Young in the first couple of days after having that job.
Shout out to Beaumont, Texas, Montana, Henderson, Nevada. Some more of our live streamers tonight. Let's do the Cougarboard question of the week, and they'll bring in Jim Evans. We got a lot of questions for him.
We got some questions for Jim,
including your own 5. So I start thinking those through. If you're not familiar with Cougarboard, we do this question every week on the show. Largest online community of BYU fans. Thousands of posts daily, sometimes more than that, depending on what's going on, if something's in the hopper. This question from El Jefe, one of their insider subscribers. For the offense Kevin Young wants to run, and knowing who we already have, what are the recruiting priorities?
Yeah, it's interesting because it's not just recruiting to what he wants to run as an offense, because I think Kevin Young has been at enough different places. I mean, he's coached in the D-League. He's coached overseas. He's been in the NBA for a long time on 2 very different teams, with the Sixers and with the Suns. So the recruiting priorities are, who are the best local players? Like, who are the top guys in the Intermountain West? How do we get them? And you know what? He's not going, do they fit our style? I mean, to a certain extent they are. What he's saying is, are they a fit at BYU? And are they crazy talented? Because we just need to assemble the best group of talent ever. And then he knows he's got to tailor that talent or tailor that offense and the defense to the talent that he has. It's not like the NBA where you just get to draft. You got to take the best talent that you can find, and you have to change up from year to year a little bit with what you want to do. Now, Trevin Nell told us last week on the show, he asked him about what offense he's going to run, and he doesn't, Trevin's like, I just worry I'm going to be sitting in the corner just as a spot-up guy waiting. And Kevin said to him, Trevin, I've been around a long time. I know how to get guys shots. You're not going to be standing in the corner, and here's the parts of your game we're going to develop. And so I don't know if Kevin knows. He has an idea of what he likes to run. He likes ball movement. He likes to attack the rim. If he had his way, he'd have a great inside-out game. But he's going to see what that is, and he's going to take the best talent that he can that's on the board that he can get that fits at BYU, and then he'll have to decide whether they're going to continue to be a let's jack up of 35 threes a game, or if all of a sudden you have a glut of big guys that can score, then all of a sudden you play everything through the post. So I think it will change from year to year, and I think he's an experienced enough and good enough coach that he'll tailor that offense to what he's got in talent. The nice part about Brody's this is the model. He's the top player in the state. He's 6'8". He's 230 pounds. He's known as a really good rebounding big guy that can also run the floor and shoot threes. Yeah. Yeah, if you can recruit that guy every year, we'll take a whole team of those guys.
We know they're looking for a rim runner. They got 3 or 4, maybe 5 scholarships to give out. So they're looking for a rim runner. And then you get a rim runner, you've already got a team that can compete in the Big 12, and then, just with what you have left.
And then you're always looking for guys with great speed on the perimeter that can both handle the ball and break down a defense. And that can defend on the perimeter, that have quick enough lateral, movement to be able to stay in front of these great guards in the Big 12. So,
hey, Stephen from Brigham City, Utah, is on the live stream tonight. Thank you, Stephen. Let's bring in our next guest. Talking one of the great events of the year in the state of Utah, set for July 4th at Lavelle Edwards Stadium. We're talking about Stadium of Fire. This year's headliner is Jonas Brothers. It is our pleasure to welcome in the BYU grad who's bringing them here, and he's the executive director of America's Freedom Festival at Provo, Jim Evans. And before we reveal him on our screen, we want you to think, live streamers, what's been the best Stadium of Fire act that you have ever come to Provo to watch? Namely the band. What has been your favorite band as we say hello to the great Jim Evans? Welcome to the Wise Guys. It's good to have you with us.
Thank you for inviting me tonight. Great to be with you and Blaine.
Well, we got a lot of questions for you. Should we just get right at it?
Wait, you're going to wait and you're going to give your answer to the greatest band later, right?
Yeah, we're going to do this a little bit later.
I know who my wife Brenda's is. It's like Tim McGraw's showing up. She wants to be there, right?
Well, we've got a little bit of time before the 4th. The Freedom Festival activities actually are underway, and one of the big ones is the Hope for America event at the Marriott Center starting tomorrow. And then Memorial Day of Service on May 27th. So those are the May mega events leading into June and then July. What is it about Provo and the Freedom Festival that makes it such a magical time of year?
I think it's so magical because of all the hundreds and hundreds of volunteers. People, when I took this job 5 years ago, asked me, tell me about your big staff that you have. Okay, there's 2 full-time, a couple part, and hundreds of volunteers that basically run this. So what's so magical is just the way that people want to be involved.
What is it about Utah and about Utah Valley in particular, just Provo-Orem area, that brings this patriotism? It just you can just feel it from now through the 4th and then really all year long. But people really embrace this. What is it about this area of the country that makes this such a success here?
Well, I think let's go back to what Dave mentioned. This coming week, starting tomorrow, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday in the Marriott Center, we'll have over 6,000 fifth graders, their grandparents watching, their teachers singing songs about freedom and country and first responders. Where else are you going to get that but here in Provo, Utah? It starts with the youth in the schools, and that Hope of America that we're going to have this week is one of the great examples of how we get that freedom started. But Blaine, people just, they love their country. In fact, the mission statement of our Freedom Festival, God, family, freedom, and country.
Yeah.
If you're in Provo and you drive past the Marriott Center, that's why there'll be 30 school buses.
That's right.
Maybe more there over the next couple of days. All the information on the events are at www.freedomfestival.org. This year, the Grand Parade and Stadium of Fire are actually lining up for the same day on July 4th. That's kind of cool.
Not only that, but we'll also have the balloons taken off in the morning.
That's right.
You'll have the Freedom Run that day. So you'll have down in Provo, the Freedom Days, all the booths and vendors. So that's going to be a packed day on the 4th of July this year.
Yeah, and sometimes that doesn't work. Sometimes the 4th falls on a Sunday, and these things get split up. So it's been a while since we've had all of these events on the actual 4th, right?
Several years. It's usually been on the 1st on a Saturday for several years, but it's all on the 4th this year.
Yeah, so Jonas Brothers is the headliner this year.
They are.
Which Dave knew ahead of time because you told him. Nobody told me. I asked. Nobody would tell me. I'm on the outside.
I told him that I told you I wouldn't tell him.
You zipped it.
Yes,
I could trust him.
Yeah, you can trust Dave. Is the show sold out yet? Are we getting close?
It is. So to let you know, when tickets went on sale, from a Friday to a Monday, we'd already sold over 32,000 tickets. It only holds 46,000
That's crazy.
in the stadium. So if you were to call BYU right now, they say it's sold out. We're going to probably release some tickets the 1st of June.
Okay.
There's some that will get back into the pool, but it's for all intents and purposes, Blaine, sold out this year.
Oh,
So Jonas Brothers, a hot ticket. How hard of a decision is it for you and your committee to decide on a band?
I stick my neck out when I go to the trustees and we get input. We have surveys from past stadium fires and ask people what they like. Of course, they want Taylor Swift, who I can't afford, and they want a lot of other people I can't
afford.
Brooks.
Can anybody afford Taylor Swift? Nobody can afford Taylor
I couldn't
Swift.
afford her movie, I don't think. But anyway, so I actually went to the Jonas Brothers concert last fall in Salt Lake to check them out to see how. And I came back to our producer and I said, let's go get these guys. And it took several months to get them. And when they said they wanted to come, I thought, okay, here we go. And you never know until you start selling tickets.
Yeah.
And so after that first weekend, we sold 32,000, which was the second fastest selling to Miley Cyrus. And then Jonas Brothers was, or the Journey was the third. So they're second. So they've sold really well.
And they've been here before, and there's always a gamble of bringing them back. Journey had been here before, and I thought last year's show was just like off the charts.
We sold out. In fact, to let you two know here, I don't know. Hold this out. Okay, this is a shirt from the Journey concert, a special one made of Journey insignias. I've got one for both you and Blaine.
That's awesome. I will wear that.
Thank you.
Go.
Thank you.
I told the story last year when we were talking about this that I was living at the Whittingham's house. You know, Kyle and Carrie and those guys. Fred and Nancy had gone, or Fred had gone down to coach with the Rams at the time. And we were all sitting up there, didn't have any money, and we're like, Journey is in concert down at the Marriott Center. This is in the old days. And we're not there. And Nancy says, let me teach you guys a lesson. If you just act like you know what you're doing, you can walk into any event you ever want to. So she lines us up. We get in the car. She drives us down the Marriott Center. She just walks in and goes, come on, let's go. Stands at the door. The ticket taker's looking at us, and we just walked right in, and we went to the Journey concert for free.
I'm going to be looking out for you guys next time.
Look out for Blaine. If you see Blaine in a tie, something's up.
The great lesson that Nancy Whittingham taught me as a young man was, if you dress up and act like you know what you're doing, nobody's going to question you. So that was my first Journey experience.
And a warning.
And then we went to the one at the stadium. So
Jim Evans, amazing. Former mayor of Orem, Utah, executive director of America's Freedom Festival at Provo, is on the Wise Guys tonight. We've got our live stream active from all over the place around the world. When you decide on a performer, you have to take some things into account because you want this to be a family event. And I'm not necessarily talking about content of songs, but pricing has to be such so that I'll bring my kids. Isn't that pretty much the mission?
Absolutely, and that's why I can't get some of the more expensive artists, because we need to keep some of the tickets, and our tickets range from $40 up to $270 if you're on the first few rows of the stadium. But we can't raise them all up like you could at Taylor Swift concert. We've got to keep some so families can come. It's for families.
Richard Kozlowski, Brody's grandpa, says, hey, let's get Imagine Dragons.
Eric Wade says Journey, no competition.
He wants Journey back.
For the best ones.
We've tried Imagine Dragons. We've tried the Killers, and they're always in Europe during the 4th of July.
Yeah.
But we have a list of ongoing ones that we continue to, and I'll do social media checks. We'll see who would be popular in this area and so forth. But once again, if you have ideas, send them my way to the Freedom Festival.
We might have to call Dan Reynolds for him, see if we can't work him over.
Country bands always play well
they do,
here.
They do.
There's something about country artists that they're part of America, and there's religion, and it's just everything involved in these country artists like Tim McGraw, Keith Urban, Carrie Underwood, and they've all been here a number of times. I'm looking forward to Keith coming back again someday.
Amazing concert that Keith gave
last time he was here. Incredible.
But when you branch out into what Journey was awesome and stuff, what when you talk to the band and you say, we want you to come to Provo, Utah, but you're playing on campus at BYU, and so there's some rules, or there's some things that you might not be able to do which you would do at a USANA or somewhere else. How do they respond to that?
You know, they've all been very good over the years to respect the BYU. Well, they know we're in the BYU Stadium, LaVelle Edwards Stadium, that we have to follow the honor code rules there. And so they see that, they read the rider of what they need to do, and they all respect that.
That's good stuff. When the actual event, you talk about volunteers, how many people does it take to stage and to do the Stadium of Fire on that 4th of July day?
Well, they start out a week before. So we basically rent the BYU Stadium. The Freedom Festival does a week before. They show up at the stage with the lights, with everything, the crews. So there's hundreds of people from the stage to the sound setting up. And then you have the night, the security, the people watching the dressing rooms, the concessions, the ushers. So I'd say probably 300 to 400 people at least that night.
It's a big event.
Is there a better moment than when those 4 jets come buzzing over, and then fireworks come, and you've had the anthem, but where we're at sometimes down there by the stage, we can see them off in the distance, and then they're on top of you, and it just seems like that's like the greatest moment ever.
The sound of freedom, we'd like to call that when they blow our heads. No, I'm going to. This is an exclusive here tonight. You ready?
Okay.
For this, we're going to do something in the stadium we've never done before this year. No one else knows this, but now they will. We're going to have a drone show as part of the Stadium of Fire this year. We're going to have some drones. We'll have the fireworks and everything else. But before the fireworks, we're going to have 200 drones that are going to just blow you out of your seat.
And do they have like lights attached and all kinds of stuff?
Oh, they'll come up in formation. They'll form flags. They'll form patriots. You just wait. But anyway, we're going to have a drone show this year in the Stadium of Fire.
I know that's going to be cool because I was coming out of a BYU baseball game the other night after calling it, and there was some drone rehearsals going on, and I was just watching them from my car, and I'm thinking that has to be something to do with a major event in the stadium.
So that was for the grad bash that BYU did this year, but it's the same company we're using. We're adding about 50 more drones. So we're going to have more multi-dimensional elements and things like that.
Hey, come see the drone. That's awesome.
And do you remember the one year when the Jets went over and then they turned around and then they came back?
We try, but the fuel must be too much. They say we're only going one way. We ask them every year, can you just go back?
Don't just keep coming the whole night.
Yeah.
Just send the whole fleet.
Yeah.
It's such a great moment. Volunteers, how do they get a hold of you to get involved?
Freedom Festival, americasfreedomfestival.org. And there's a link on there where they can sign up to be a volunteer for the parade. By the way, the parade uses hundreds of volunteers. Yeah. We have over 320,000 people show up on the 4th of July just at the parade. And if you take all the events together, we estimate about 600,000 people participate in the events.
It's awesome. So look, if you want to get up close and personal with that great event, sign up as a volunteer. Bring your whole family. And it's just such a cool vibe. The smoke bombs smell better. The bottle rockets, even though illegal, are still awesome. It's just, everything's magical about that time of year.
Yeah. Hey, before we do his 5 questions, though, I got to ask you about your involvement with BYU women's basketball, because you've been pretty involved. I know you were instrumental in getting Lauren Gustin back after she went into the portal and came back and led the nation in rebounding again in the Big 12. People thought she couldn't do it in the Big 12. She led the nation again by a mile. Tell us a little bit about your involvement in women's basketball at BYU and why you're so fond of that group.
So years ago when Cougar Club asked me, do you want to join? I said, yeah. How can you do a scholarship for someone? Well, women's basketball? Yep, okay, we'll do it. Because our daughter played in high school, Timpanogos, and I knew that the girls didn't get the support the guys do. Right. We love guys. We go to all the games. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I thought they need some support and love too. So we started with one scholarship, and it turned into an endowed. And we travel with the team. We love the team. You see us sitting on the front row there. And we have the whole team to our house every September for karaoke and a steak fry to kick off the season to do team bonding. And you see all the girls, they come with costumes, the coaches. And
who's the best singer on that squad?
Yeah.
The squad.
And how does Coach Whiting?
How's Amber?
How does she do on that karaoke?
Amber, they actually got Amber. The first year, she kind of did it. This last year, she dressed up full on.
Oh, no.
They had Barbie outfits on and everything. Amber did it. So
she's
drinking the Kool-Aid with the girls now.
Wait a minute. You need to get Dave to that, because I did see Dave perform. Was it with Marie on the stage?
Yeah. I only do it with superstars.
Yeah, Dave got pulled up on the stage with Marie.
I got my limits.
With Marie.
You were there.
I was there.
Yeah, he's a witness. He doesn't like to talk about it because it wasn't pleasant for everyone.
No,
but we gave it our best shot.
But just the way we love the women's team, and I tell people the guys are great to watch, but the girls always give us hugs when the game's over. But they're amazing, and you're right when you said Lauren. I was grateful that we could find a company that could help with a little stuff to help her make that decision to stay. So,
hey, NIL is here to stay.
It's real.
It's big, and it's big for. There were a lot of schools trying to buy her away, and when she came back, it was certainly huge for Coach Whiting for the program. But there were people involved that helped that too, and I know she is very grateful for you and what you've done.
Thanks.
She's been here on the show, and it's phenomenal what she got done. But you can't get all that done without having support.
Incredible. And I need to just, a little personal thing, love your parents, miss your mom, love your dad. They'd always greet us to all the games and get hugs. Talk about hugs. We always get hugs from your mom and dad. So.
Yeah. Classic.
Yeah, we miss mom. But dad's listening, so he just heard that, Jim. So he always listens every Monday night.
Love you, my friend.
So,
are you ready for 5 questions?
I am.
Okay, now you heard Brody's 5, and so you were tipped off a little bit. Well, he's over here, and he's going to hear your 5.
I didn't pay attention until halfway through, so let's see what I come up with.
Okay, here we go then. Your favorite sports movie?
Favorite sports movie, Hoosiers.
Hoosiers,
Classic.
okay, yeah.
That was mine, and that was Marie's.
That's Marie Osmond's.
A lot of really smart people like that one.
Yeah, well, Remember the Titans is our most popular.
That is, but
Hoosiers is great.
Is there a spot when you're watching TV and you're flipping the dial and Hoosiers is on? You have to stop.
I'd stop.
No matter where it's at, and it just pulls you in.
I love it.
Not every movie does that.
Not only the basketball, but that kid's dad who had problems. And
Jimmy's dad.
Jimmy's dad. You still, come on, let's do it.
Yeah.
Who's going to be BYU's Jimmy this next year?
Jimmy Chitwood?
When they're in the huddle and Kevin Young's going, well, we're going to use this as a decoy, and then he just goes, I want a shot.
I'll make it.
Coach, I'll make it.
Who do you think it's going to be?
Who is it this next year?
What do you guys think?
I mean, Richie Saunders down the stretch of games seems to just give me the ball and make a shot.
He's got the confidence to say that.
Yeah. Downs made some big shots.
Yeah, Downs made some.
I even think Nell. I think Downs going to have a huge year this year.
That's the thing about BYU. A lot of guys that can make plays. Brody Kowski, who we just had on, is going to surprise people. His stature at 6'8" and 230, he shoots it. I hate to say this, but he reminds me of players that come out of Europe that are really good. He's a big, strong kid that can go out and he has beautiful shooting for him.
So thrilled to have him back.
So Brody's the kind of guy. And in high school, I was talking to his mom about the thing that most impressed me about Brody as I watched his high school film was when the game's on the line and it's coming down the stretch, he goes from an 85% free throw shooter to a 95% free throw shooter. Wow. He goes from shooting 48% from the field to down the stretch, he shoots 60-something%. It's there's something about him where when the game it's on the line and something has to be done, he elevates his game. And that's what all great players, and to me, you don't teach that. And so he just brings that to BYU. That's a special thing to bring to BYU. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's a guy that says, I'll make it.
I can see in that huddle Noah Waterman saying,
yeah, Noah, give me the ball.
Now, he might not get the ball, but I can see him saying,
I got
give me the ball.
Give me the ball.
As a fan, I loved watching Noah from the year before to last year. His improvements, and I'm thinking, let's do it again this year.
Just think where he could go.
If he makes that kind of a jump, he's an NBA guy.
I'm thrilled what he did.
If he can do that.
Sorry for the diversion. Okay. We're back to number 2.
Now, here we go. So, favorite sports movies, Hoosiers. Favorite singer or band?
Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Oh, it's old school. Nice.
Lee, did we not go to Earth, Wind, and Fire concert? No, we went to Janet Jackson. Lee Johnson's in the house, by the way. We went to Janet Jackson, and we danced our heads off. But Steve Young didn't dance. How do you not dance to?
By the way, I went to a concert in L.A. that had Earth, Wind, and Fire in Chicago on the same stage, playing together each other. I'm high-fiving, the drummers coming by, the spits coming from the trombone. One of my best concerts ever.
That's awesome. So Earth, Wind, and Fire, that's a great choice.
That's cool.
I can't, because I don't want to be mad. I was going to say your favorite band you've ever brought into the Stadium of Fire.
No, we're going to ask him that in a minute.
Okay, we'll do that at the end. Okay.
That's coming.
Okay, so Earth, Wind, and Fire. Your favorite breakfast cereal?
Bacon and eggs. Okay. Besides bacon and eggs, it would be
that's old school.
It would be Captain Crunch.
Captain Crunch, that's a classic.
You like his same movie and you like his same cereal?
We do. Yeah, we do a lot of stuff together.
We didn't trade, but that's what I'd like.
Yeah, Captain Crunch. It cuts the roof of your mouth, but no worries.
You know what? Someone asked me about that the other day, and I said, yeah, it cuts the roof of your mouth if you're a rookie.
You have to, there's a special way to eat it. If you have to eat it in a special way.
And eventually, then you'll also get scabs and things. And also, then you can just.
I'm just all about Frosted Flakes and cinnamon life. I'm just telling you. Or I might eat some Lucky Charms and then save all the charms for the very, very end and just get 3 straight bites of nothing but marshmallows. But that's just me. Okay, your favorite BYU moment ever?
It could have been one of LJ's field goals, but it's going to be probably watching Jimmer hit that 50-foot or 8, whatever it was against Utah in that game. I just probably one of my favorite moments of all time.
When he had 33 in the first half?
Yeah, that one too.
So I called that game for NBC, and people have heard this before, but I still joke with Jimmer about it because he tells me I rode his coattails. That play was the national play of the day on ESPN Top 10. It was number 1. But instead of them talking over it, they just took our call. Jimmer knocked it down. He just turned around, and I said, yeah, look at him. He's like, yeah, that's me. I'm Jimmer Fredette. That's what I do. I make shots. No big deal.
Number 2 was let's see, whose was it? It was Yoli's dunk.
Oh yeah. Up at Salt Lake. Yeah, that left a mark.
You like when big time guys make big time plays at Utah, don't you? Yeah. So there you go. Well, they're back in the same league now. All right, this is it. Your favorite Stadium of Fire entertainer ever?
It's a big list.
I'm a classic rock person, so even though country does good, Journey. If I would have remembered, I would have brought I have a signed guitar in my office that Neil Schoen signed for me to Jim and I hang up. I grew up in the classic rock era. I love the R&B too, but probably Journey.
They were great the first time. They were better last year.
I think so.
They're
I don't know
really good.
why, but it was just good. And one thing I noticed about Journey and some of these bands that you've brought in, and you can tell the power of a band when they hit the first chord on the guitar and everyone knows the first word of what they're about to say, and you can feel the power of that entertainer. And it's something else.
Yeah.
Well, my favorite one, though, this year will be going to the Waffle House with the Jonas Brothers.
The Jonas Brothers?
Are they Waffle House guys?
Well, that's one of their popular songs, Working It All Out at the Waffle House.
There we go.
You come this year and hear it. So
Okay. I was like, if you're going to the Waffle House, is there a Waffle House in Provo?
I don't know if there's or not.
We go to those on the road
Jonas
once in a while.
Brothers.
It's not really on my diet.
So, Blaine, what's your favorite Stadium of Fire
Stadium
act?
Fire Act? Oh, I'm going to say it's probably a toss-up between Journey and Tim McGraw. Like that Tim McGraw, we took our whole family to that Tim McGraw.
And I thought, was better the second time than the first time.
I'm going to take Tim McGraw's second one.
Yeah, I'd agree with you on that.
I'm going way, way back. Do you remember when we had the Beach Boys in? And we had the balls bouncing around, and like that was quite an atmosphere. That was really fun, and that took me back to
you mean
childhood.
the second time? Or
The second time.
Yeah, although, I'm sorry, it was kind of like a weekend at Bernie's because they had what's the name? Never mind.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, I'd say it was good. I love the Beach Boys.
The environment was really good.
But Tim McGraw put on an amazing
did
concert.
a phenomenal job. So
I was there. I've been there a bunch, and then I missed a bunch because I was in Vegas. But I was there the night of the million firecrackers.
Oh,
that was something else. I was 100 yards away, so I felt the heat, but
singe your eyebrows right off.
My eyebrows were okay, but I think Keith Urban was my favorite all time, bar none. And I loved Journey last year.
Dave's good friends with one of the songwriters that has written some number ones for Keith. We went down. Dave got us down in Vegas when he was in residency down there.
He's just good.
He is an amazing guitar player.
Cool
I didn't realize how good a guitar player he is until we were right up close.
How cool is that to have him get up on that pedestal and in the middle of the concert, pick a fan out, play a song, autograph it, and give it to the lady?
It's first class.
First class.
So good.
We were at the meet and greet with him before, and he's just as nice of a guy as he is a phenomenal performer.
Yeah.
So any year he comes back,
we love Keith. He's
one.
great. So.
All right, Jim Evans with us, America's Freedom Festival at Provo and Stadium of Fire. We'll see you in a few weeks.
We'll see you soon.
All right.
Thanks so much.
Fantastic having you here. By the way, Stadium of Fire is going to be the first event held on BYU's new grass field. As far as I know, maybe the graduation will be first, that program they're having, but they redid the surface, and then it'll be Stadium of Fire, and then it'll be the season opener August 31st against Southern Illinois. Thank you, Jim. Thanks for coming in. Next week, developer Brandon Fugel, safety Micah Harper. Into the business school now is Micah Harper.
That's right.
Mark Comer from the Royal Blue Collective. Also later in May, and of course, as soon as Kevin Young is here and unpacks his bags and has a free minute, we will we'll have him on the show.
As we say, we're efforting Kevin.
Hey, DJ, let's do our Defense Drinks promotion. Let me read a couple of things, and Blaine will give a testimonial because
I've already been drinking.
Because he drinks this stuff the whole show. Let's see if we got that.
By
graphic.
the way, I already drank one of these. I'm loading up for a second.
Appreciate you. All right, Defense Drinks makes a pre-workout that's caffeine-free. Blaine is live and engaged in what I'm talking about here.
I'm not doing the pre because Lee Johnson is enough for me to just. Lee will get me bouncing.
Listen, I got to read this thing. Hold that up.
Lee will get me bouncing off the walls. This is the collagen. This is for my joints. This is what I'm doing for my joints.
Okay, get the energy and performance boost without disturbing your sleep, having caffeine jitters, or a caffeine crash. Being caffeine-free and using clean ingredients means it can be safely used by you and NCAA athletes. Save 10% on your order at defensedrinks.com using the promo code WISEGUYS. There you go.
Yeah.
All
and
right.
so I already drank one of these. So I just did a half a scoop in the first one and a half a scoop in this. So this is the collagen one. So this helps with joint health and all that kind of stuff. And it's filled with electrolytes too. So I did a good workout early this morning, and this will help me get better hydrated and help my joints. So, but the one you have is the pre. I tried that last week before my workout. Good stuff.
Worked good?
Yeah, it worked really good. So
our next guest is, he punted the football for the national champion Cougars in 1984 and in the NFL for 18 seasons. the Assistant Development Director over Major Gifts at BYU. Pleasure to welcome Lee Johnson to the Wise Guys. Good to have you here.
Thanks, Dave. How are you, buddy?
We've been working on this. DJ, can we get his mic up? We've been working on this interview for some time, and tonight is finally taking place.
That was my bad. I
No,
dropped the ball.
sometimes you have stuff going on.
It
Like
happens.
you're a busy person.
Once in a while, yeah.
We were talking before you came on, and you weren't even here yet. And I said that I'm pretty certain of all former BYU players, you played the most leagues of anyone in the NFL. That's true, right?
I think so.
Is there any player that's ever played at any of the universities in the state of Utah? So I'm talking Southern Utah, Weber, BYU, Utah State, former Dixie, which is now Utah Tech. Has anybody from the state of Utah ever played more seasons than you in the NFL?
Not a chance, Blaine.
So there you go.
No one.
What about
There you go.
What about
Not even
Denny?
close.
How close did Denny come?
John Denny was he 14 years maybe?
Yeah, that's pretty impressive that John played
Very
that many years.
impressive. Long snapper. Yeah.
And
had a great career.
Merlin played. Utah State. Merlin Olsen's a Hall of Famer. He played like 15, 16.
Yeah, I don't know
Oh, you know what?
exactly.
I think he only played 13. Here's the crazy thing about Merlin.
Back then they didn't play that long.
He was a Pro Bowler every year in the league.
Phenomenal.
Which is, I think, still a record. I don't know if anybody's ever done that every
Remarkable.
single year in
Yeah.
their league for 10 years or more. So
Amazing.
he was good. But, so
Amazing.
there you go. We were right. I was right. I thought Lee played more seasons than any player in the history of college football in the state of Utah.
I don't know that for sure.
I'm saying it.
I'm going to say it too.
So let it be written. So
yeah, let it be done.
So I went online and you punted the ball 1,226 times.
My goodness.
In the NFL.
Wow.
So describe the worst conditions, and we teased this out earlier today. Well, the worst conditions you ever had to kick in, and how did it turn out?
Yeah, it didn't turn out great. In college, it was Air Force. I forgot what
I'll never forget that.
It was awful.
Snow and wind.
Yeah, it was gnarly.
Yeah, it was
but
terrible.
the worst by far was Buffalo in December in a massive blizzard. It was the worst experience of my life. I was holding, and just being a punter was bad enough, but we were kicking a game-winning field goal to go in to win the game, and it's a couple seconds left, and the ball goes through my hands, and we have to go to overtime, and that was my demise. Bill Belichick. I could not hold on to the ball.
So you were with the Patriots
so
at that
cold.
time, yeah.
Yeah, it was 30-mile-an-hour winds. It was a blizzard, whiteout conditions. And in pregame, I'm having a hard time just catching the snap. I didn't have gloves. On. So I go into in the fourth quarter to catch the snap for the field goal, and it goes through my hands. We go into overtime, and sure enough, we win the game with a field goal. I got to go out there and do it again, catch this cold ball.
Redemption.
But I was scared to death.
But Bill Belichick never forgave you?
Next year, I got cut. Next year, I got cut against San Diego.
Did you remind him you won the
game? What's that, Dave? I'm sorry.
I said, did you remind Belichick you won that game?
Yeah, we won the game, but he's an interesting guy. It was 5 games in against the Chargers. Brady's first game.
Right.
Bledsoe's bench, Brady's first game. The ball goes through my hands, snaps, hits my helmet, punt gets blocked, and we still win the game, but the next day I'm fired.
Wow.
That was the end of me.
So you were with Brady but early, before he was even really a player. Did you have any clue that he was going to be that good?
No clue. He came in late round draft choice, kind of an interesting looking guy. Just came in kind of, most rookies who come in, they just don't feel like they fit, especially a late round guy. First rounders always seem to think they fit.
Yeah.
But he was my locker partner, right next to me, Brady Locker, and he was just kind of a small, kind of a yokel kind of kid, just coming out and just trying to be a part of something. You didn't realize the fire he had in his belly. This guy, and it'll tell you when you meet him, he's a wonderful guy. He's super kind, super friendly. But he had something within that was just really impressive, and it obviously showed.
Yeah.
So when you're back there ready to field a punt snap, how much time do you have to catch it and kick it before those NFL guys are on top of you? 2.2
seconds if they're not coming at you. If they're coming full out block, usually 1.9 seconds is what they call the get off time.
Yeah.
1.9.
Yeah. So, it sounds kind of crazy.
What's this term, operational time?
Op time, yeah. It's called operational time. From the time of the snap to the time of the kick is the op time.
And so you 1.9 if they're coming, 2.2 if they're not coming.
If they're not coming, you want to be off in that. And a lot of it's on the snapper because a lot of snappers are, 0.08. Good ones can be maybe 0.07, so it gives me about, whatever, do the math, 1.2 seconds to
So
get
we're
off.
guessing that John Denny was a 0.07.
John was good. John was solid. He could whip it.
Did you ever, you guys never played together, did
Never,
you?
no. I'm old man. Well, I'm your age.
That's right. I forget John's
I think I'm
way
older than you,
younger
Dave.
than
How
us.
old are you, Dave? Are you?
I'm younger than
You're
both
not-
of you.
He's younger than us. You and I are close.
So,
you and I are close.
so I just love this picture you're painting. When you're back there and you're ready to get the snap to kick it away, and you see that they are coming.
Yeah.
How does the brain process that?
It's not good for me. I don't like it. I don't like a full man rush. It's especially when the guys are coming off. Usually in the NFL, you get the guys, the white guys.
Right.
In college, they don't do that for whatever reason. Well, do they sometimes?
Because the rules are different about who can release and who can't in college.
Exactly.
Versus...
So a lot of times they'll double press the wide guys in the NFL, and you got plenty of time. But when they start creeping in or they're singles, and usually they're coming. And also by the team. The Oilers always came crazy.
See, in the NFL, the only guys that can run down until the ball hits your foot are the outside guys.
Right.
The eligible guys.
Very different. Right? Yeah.
In college, everybody can go.
Everyone. That's why the rugby style in college would never work in the pros.
Oh, no,
because they have
work.
To wait till the ball goes.
Right. Never work.
Yeah, very different.
So,
would not work.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right, you played for the Oilers, Browns, Bengals, Patriots, Vikings, and Eagles. Which NFL experience was the best?
Can I say one thing? Yeah. You missed one.
Wait, I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it.
Bengals,
if you can get
Patriots,
it.
Browns,
Vikings,
Bengals,
Eagles.
Patriots, Vikings, and Eagles.
Buffalo Bills for 1 week.
Right.
For 1 week. Come on.
I got 1 week, one game. They left me at home. They played at the Raiders, and it was in December. They brought me in to kick off. Yeah, they brought me on. They released me. So
In 1 week?
In 1 week.
All right. So what of all those, including the Bills? I'm gonna assume the Bills isn't gonna make this list. What was the best experience?
Best experience was the Oilers was home. I lived there. It was a wonderful experience. The best experience was Cincinnati.
Really?
That's where I raised most of my kids, the family. Played the longest. Phenomenal city.
You guys were really good then too.
We were terrible. We were terrible in 80.
At the end, you were good, weren't you?
The 90s were the worst era of professional football. We lost more. I'm the losingest player in the NFL because of the 90s at the Bengals. I came in 87. I came in 88, went to the Super Bowl. So my first year we go to the Super Bowl.
You got the end of it, is what you're saying.
87, 88, 89, 90 were very good.
That's when, and you had Jason there with you.
Jason Buck, yeah.
Yeah, and Leon was with you.
Leon was there as well, yeah.
So
we usually had two teammates from our teammates were with you there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Phenomenal time.
So 88 was your Super Bowl year?
Super Bowl year.
You punt 63 yards. It stands as the longest punt in NFL history up until Johnny Hecker booted a 65-yarder in 2012.
Beats you by 2 yards. And I missed the game. Was it 2012?
Yeah.
Was it really?
For Hecker,
So it held for a while.
Yeah.
For the Rams,
and it's really weird because 63 yards every year, 63 yards is just an average punt. Still 80, 85 would be the longest. But since it's one game a year, then I guess it held. I was shocked.
Kick?
Oh, yeah. It rolled. Don't forget it rolled.
Oh, it did?
And another key thing happened in that play. Both of you guys probably don't know. I'm going to trivia here. Another record was set. Actually, 2 records were set. The longest return in Super Bowl history. John Taylor took it almost to the house.
Oh, wow.
And 2 Super Bowl records were set in one play.
So wait,
that was your kick that he returned?
My longest Super Bowl
kick. He picked
kick
it up and ran up for a touch?
Was returned by the longest, return was the longest return in Super Bowl history.
Why didn't you go tackle him?
I tried, and it's not pretty. Go on YouTube right now and type it in, and it's the ugly. Don't do it right now, please. It's hideous, completely awful.
DJ,
no kidding?
No, I'm just kidding. No, we're not going to do that.
Terrible.
So your record-setting
comic relief if you want to do it.
I didn't. The rest of the sentence wasn't there when I was reading it.
Yeah.
The record-setting kick was followed by a record-setting return.
On the same play. So
is playing in the Super Bowl the coolest thing?
The coolest thing. It was unbelievable. It was in Miami. And that was the day when Donald Trump was big. Christy Brinkley, Billy Joel.
Sure.
This was before Donald Trump was the president. He was just Donald Trump.
Yeah, he was Donald Trump.
He was like, you're fired. He
Totally.
was that guy.
Yeah, exactly. But I remember on pregame just having Billy Joel and Christy Brinkley, who were married at the time, right behind me.
Oh, man.
In my pregame, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Yeah. Just the whole experience. It was larger than life. It really was.
And the whole week leading up to it's larger than life.
Larger than life,
What was that like?
It was a crazy time because that was when, if you don't remember, Stanley Wilson, our starting fullback, went missing the night before the game.
That's right.
He was, we started, Sam Weiss started, normally you just start your team meeting the night before the game. You start the team meeting, you don't worry about anything. You're late, you don't show up, you get fined. Sam was not about to start this meeting. So he goes to Stanley's room and knocks on the door, no one answers, goes in the room and they find Stanley in the bathroom and he's consuming drugs. Yeah. And he takes off and he goes missing for 3 days in Miami.
I remember
that
seeing
night.
that on
I forgot
HBO.
That was huge that week. I remember that now.
I know. It's a crazy night, crazy time. Stanley Will, a great player out of Oklahoma. Yeah, it's rough. I have no idea how he's doing now. But
the Oilers drafted you in the 5th round.
5th round.
You don't see many punters that drafted that high these days, which means they had a lot of respect for you. You had a great collegiate career, but when they call you in the 5th round, are you surprised?
I was surprised. 13 rounds back then also. Now we go 7 rounds, and I was the 3rd punter chosen. Dale Hatcher and Greg Montgomery.
Neither of which played 18 seasons in the NFL.
They did not.
By the way.
No. They didn't. They didn't
or
come
the
close.
Super Bowl.
Yeah, no, they didn't.
No,
maybe.
Did
I don't know if they did or not.
So you get a call for the 5th round, and you're like, hey, there's
I'm
a lot
at
of
home.
quarterbacks who haven't gone.
Totally. Yeah, I was shocked. They liked the fact that I could kick off. They liked the fact that I could back up kick. I was a triple threat.
Right.
Yeah.
And I could hold. So it was a nice bonus. Paul Brown, and went to Cincinnati, loved that about me. The late Paul Brown. That's why they really liked me at Cincy, because I could kind of take care of two positions.
They don't have to pay for another guy.
Yeah.
You punted barefooted in college.
I did.
Could you punt barefoot in the pros?
I did 2.5 years. I did, and as the Oiler, I did.
Because I remember you not at the end. What happened with
I
that?
put it on. I went from Cincinnati, the Oilers, to Cleveland.
Oh, yeah,
which was a
you're in
nightmare.
Cleveland, and
kept
like
my
half the
shoe
season's
on.
in the snow.
Yeah, yeah, and I realized at that time that I had to put a shoe on. It was just too difficult. When you get late in the season, it gets wet and cold, and the foot, you just slip. So going into Cincinnati, I made the transition. They brought me into Cincinnati to kick off. That's it. And then when I got there, I put my shoe on, and I actually did quite well. And I beat out the kicker, the punter, the current punter, and I was able to play that year in the Super Bowl.
So my wife has a question for you, because we were looking at the picture we posted on social media to promote your interview of you punting the ball without a shoe on or a sock on, and she's like, "What is he doing? Why is he kicking without a shoe on?" And I go, "Well, that's how he always did it."
Yeah.
Well, why do some kickers choose to do that?
Yeah,
Why'd you?
I'm from Texas, and kickers back then did it. Russell Lurkslavin, Tony
Yeah,
Franklin,
I
the
remember
two guys
Russell,
from
yeah.
Texas, and A&M and Texas Longhorns, they both did it, and I did it. Before I came to BYU, in college, in high school, I had a shoe on. Right before I went to BYU, I took my shoe off for punting only. And I did it, and I went into the fall camp in August as a freshman, and I was killing the ball.
What's the difference?
It's like drop a basketball on carpet or drop a basketball on concrete. You get a better reaction off concrete.
And your foot, when you do it barefoot and you're practicing that way, it toughens up and gets calloused.
Yeah,
and
no, it doesn't hurt. And it never was cold. It was more just a slipping effect. That's why I put my shoe back on.
Yeah.
But no, you can kill the ball. You have a less sweet spot because the shoe's a little bit bigger. So I was more consistent with a shoe on. But I could hit bombs barefoot.
Hey, we used to just watch him in practice. Like everybody would just stop and start. When he got going, we'd just be watching it. I remember one time standing next to Mike Holmgren, and we were just watching, and we stopped playing catch, getting ready because we didn't do much to warm up.
Yeah.
And then he just went, "That's ridiculous."
Wow. It was fun. I loved it. You get those hot days in August. It was great.
I want to ask you, so you had a great career at BYU, and we have friends that will be our friends forever and ever.
Yeah.
Played for a national championship at BYU.
Amazing.
Like, what are the differences between playing at a high level in college football, winning a national championship, and then your experience in the NFL?
You know what? I noticed that since I was able to play in a national championship team in college, in a NFL or a Super Bowl team in the pros, it's culture, it's system, everyone seems to buy in. You really have, it's very unique. The close-knit, you think about our 84 team and how close we were, and you think about the 88 Bengals and how close we were, and it's so similar. Not only do you have a great system, you got great players, of course, but you have to have a great culture and everyone buying in. And that's what we had in both scenarios. And I think it's critical. And I think culture wins championships.
And you played for teams in the NFL that weren't good.
A lot of teams that weren't good.
And so, was that the single missing piece?
Well, you got to have good players. You got to have good coaching. And the 90s in the Bengals was awful. It was really bad. And we went through, 4 or 5 coaches. We could not find a quarterback. We went through Klinglers. And we had quarterback issues the whole time. And we just didn't have a system. We didn't have anything set. And the old Bengals did. Sam Weiss was around. They had an established offense. They had Boomer Esiason, the 84 Cougars. We had, obviously, Robbie Bosco and the great system. And it just goes hand in hand.
Mm-hmm.
Former BYU and NFL punter Lee Johnson is on the Wise Guys tonight, and we're so grateful to have him with us. Who nicknamed you Thunderfoot?
Thunderfoot. I don't know who nicknamed me. It just happened. And
somebody has to be an origin to that
He
story.
didn't start your own. He didn't start his own. Somebody does that, and then you just own it.
I just would say Thunder lived, but no, it was I think the media did. And they put me in, what was the old magazine, BYU Sports magazine they had? And they had me a big rollout of Thunderfoot and that whole thing. Yeah, I think that might have been how it started, but it wasn't me. It wasn't me.
Well, it's kind of cool.
I thought it was great. I love it. I still go by.
Who comes up with that?
My wife still calls me Thunder. Hey, babe, say Thunder, come here.
What's the longest?
I like that she calls him baby, too.
That is true. What's the longest?
Shelly calls him baby. Shelly, is this true?
What's the longest punt Thunderfoot has done?
In the pros, I hit a 80. So we're playing at the Raiders Stadium. I'm backed up on the end line, and I hit a bomb that I even was blown away. It went 80 yards, and it went out of bounds. The longest punt was same thing, Wyoming in Wyoming.
Oh, yeah.
I'm backed up.
When you hit one like that, do you even feel it hit your foot?
You don't feel it.
It's just like,
it's like a golf.
so pure,
no.
You don't even feel it.
It was bombs away. I could have had the longest, I don't know what the longest punt was. It was 82, and it went out of bounds in the air and landed maybe on the track in the old Wyoming Stadium. It could have been 95. I don't know. That was my longest ever. And it was really
at 7,000 feet, and you hit it.
It was outrageous. I loved it.
I want to know if the longest kickoff. I think I know what the longest kickoff you ever had was, but I want to see if he remembers this. What do you think the longest kickoff you ever hit in your career was?
The longest kickoff? Well, I would try to put it in the stands, but I usually just get it right and hit the wall. So that'd be 20 deep. But we were from the 40 back then.
Yeah. So I'm going to remind you of one to see if you remember this, because you told me something before the game. We were playing at New Mexico in Albuquerque, which is elevation as well. And the wind was blowing like crazy out of the one end zone. There were open end zones down there. And ESPN was doing the game, and they had a scissors truck behind the goalpost. Behind the goalpost, like 10 yards behind the goalpost to get end zone shots.
Yeah.
And you said, I'm going to hit that guy before this night is over. I'm like, on a kickoff? And you're like, yeah, I'm going to hit that guy. The guy was 10 yards behind the end zone, 20 feet in the air.
Yeah.
Minding his own business.
And Lee hit him on a kickoff.
I bounced it off his forehead.
Yes, he hit the camera, dude. And you had a nice wind, and it was at elevation.
It was,
but I'm saying that had to be your longest
That had to be. Now that you bring it up.
Just imagine, if that was in BYU, in LaVell Edwards Stadium, that thing would have been 30 rows up.
It would have been bombs away, for sure.
Away.
Yeah, that was fun. Altitude is phenomenal. Kicking the elevation.
You were quoted as saying, everything that is dear to me I found while I was attending school here.
Yeah.
Expound on that. What were you referring to?
The 4 F's: friends, family, finances. Friends, what were they?
Was
Football.
it fun?
Football
fun
was
in
there.
there?
Football. It was
Faith.
Faith. There you go.
Yep.
Yeah, I came to BYU kind of as a Mormon, but not super Mormon. So I really found myself there. And of course, found my wife there. And
friends, family, faith,
all
and
my
finance.
friends and finance, because I became a football player. So my 4 F's out of BYU. Yeah, it was my experience at BYU was off the charts. I came from Texas. Active family, but not really an active. I didn't go on a mission, so I just wasn't prepared for what was going on. When I was going home my freshman year, everyone was going on a mission. I was like, where is everyone going and why?
Yeah.
So just a different mindset. It was really weird. But everything great and near and dear to me, I got to BYU, and BYU continues to this day, working there for my 10th year now. I watch it change lives dramatically. It's amazing to watch these athletes come in and then leave and see how their lives have changed. It's beautiful to see.
Do you remember the time frame when that settled in on you, where you realized that I'm different now?
Yeah. For sure, yeah. When I met when Shelly.
When you met Shelly.
Yeah, I realized at that time it was time to grow up and get serious about just life and just the role I need to play as a potential husband, father. And I got serious about. I finally got my patriarchal blessing and just became ordained an elder. Can we talk like this on the show?
Yeah,
of course we can. Wise guys, baby.
This is our show. We do whatever we want.
Yeah, you better believe it. So yeah, it got real at that point, and it was really cool to see just what comes from that when you make that commitment, when you make that desire to change and commit and take on some things. It was beautiful.
Shelly's folks and my folks are dear friends for forever and ever.
I love Captain Kirk. Is he watching? I love Captain.
Captain Kirk's watching. He's watching tonight for sure. Jim
man.
just said hello to him, so he'll love that you're calling out my dad. Shelly, I know that Shelly felt about Lee the same way Brenda felt about me. Like, he's really fun. He's really funny. And it's funny how those girls, like, you meet him and you're like, wait a minute. I don't want to just be fun and funny.
Yeah.
There needs to be more depth to me.
Yeah.
And they have a way of shaping us up, don't they?
They do. And
Shelly did, right?
Yeah, oh, for sure. But the first thing she said on the show before I left is, don't say anything stupid. Don't be dumb. Be serious. So she's still riding me. And I do. I get a little carried away once in a while, but no doubt. They bring out the best.
Did Shelly ever say, Lee, could you play in another position other than punter? Could you be the quarterback?
No, she never did.
She never did.
She loves her kicker. Come on. Kickers and quarterback.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Brenda and Shelly knew that they could make something better out of us than what
You
we
better
were,
believe it.
So that's for sure.
This is great.
Hey, let me ask you, let's ask him a couple of current events, and we're going to get back to last few.
Oh, man, current
Lee
events.
Johnson with us. So Caleb Lohner announces today that he's going to go to the U and try to be a tight end.
Yeah.
I would think he should come here and play tight end.
Stage.
Yeah.
We know he's a tremendous athlete because he's always been that way. But can you just go figure it out in one fall camp and do it?
Man, that's tough. Great athletes, maybe they can. The position might warrant that, because if you just say, hey, get in the three-point stance and go run a route and then we'll throw the ball to you. Yeah, but it's hard to say. At the pro level, I don't know. We got the guy that got drafted in the pros who never played, rugby player. Now he's a lineman. So maybe great athletes can transition.
You remember Manny Hendricks that played basketball to you, went and played for a bunch of years with the Cowboys, right?
You're right.
So it's not It hasn't happened very often. But
No.
Interestingly, our first guest, Brody Kowski, for the last 3 or 4 years, major college football programs have been saying to him, listen, and he's grown a little bit more. He's like 6'8" now, but you're 6'6", 6'7", you're 230, and you're crazy athletic. We don't know if you're an NBA guy or not. You might be. We think you're a bona fide NFL tight end. Come play tight end.
Wow.
So when guys are that size and that length and they're really athletic, I mean, Caleb's the prototypical body type for an NFL tight end.
Totally.
But you don't know if he has the skill set.
You hadn't been over the middle for a while.
No, he hadn't been popped yet.
Yeah, but he sure looks like an NFL tight end.
What does Tyson say?
Wish him the best.
Yeah.
The Arizona Bowl got a new sponsor today.
Yeah.
Snoop Dogg.
Snoop Dogg.
It's called
Snoop's a sponsor?
The Snoop Dogg Arizona Bowl, presented by Gin and Juice. First bowl game sponsored by an alcohol brand.
Wow.
CW's got the game, Mountain West and the MAC.
In my mind, on my money, and my
Snoop
money
Dogg.
on my mind.
Is Snoop Dogg going to still...
That's not Snoop's song.
I couldn't tell you one Snoop Dogg song, guys.
Is Snoop Dogg going to still be in that bowl game in 3 years from now?
I have no idea. But he built a brand, though. There's no doubt he's got a brand.
Snoop is 1, 2, 3. And to the,
No. Wait.
Snoop Doggy Dogg and Dr. Dre.
Here we go. Well, I'll bump with you.
Yeah. No, it's like 1, 2, 3.
One,
and to the
two,
funk.
three.
Snoop Doggy Dogg and Dr. Dre is at the stump.
Yeah. Love it.
Wow.
I wish I could add on to it.
Well, you know it. It ain't nothing but a G thing.
baby.
Yeah,
baby.
that's it.
I think I got
This show just went to the next level.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. I got to rein it in.
Austin, how will you say this guy's name? Lealusa?
Yeah, the new commit to BYU.
Commit from Southern Utah, 6'5", 310, offensive lineman.
Wow.
Calls BYU his dream school.
Wow.
Will help on that O-line. How do you feel about the O-line?
They're young. I think we went through some great players. It's you got to have a great O-line to have a great team. So I think we've got. It's great to have that
Connor
addition.
Pay was on the show not long ago.
Yeah.
He gives you some veteran.
I think that
I told
helps.
Dave before the show, I just ran in, when I was out, I ran into Caleb Etienne.
Yeah.
He was out with Jacob Robinson. They both look good. Jacob's put on some weight. Caleb looks in great shape.
Yeah.
And he's really confident. He feels like they moved him to left tackle. He feels like TJ's really helped him understand the offense and what he's supposed to do. I look for him to have a phenomenal senior year at that left tackle.
I sure hope so. I know that there might a new coach, maybe a new style, a new system, a new a way to get guys fired up. But Caleb, he needs to step up. We brought him in to be an impact player, so he needs to step up. He knows it too.
Yeah.
So it's yet to be determined, though. We need to be good there.
Yeah, we have to be good on that offensive line. BYU, we haven't talked about this, but we want to touch on it for just a minute. You help coordinate all the major gift donations on campus. What does that entail? Like, what's your day-to-day, and what are you trying to accomplish there?
The whole idea is finding people who love the brand of BYU, who want to build the brand of BYU and make it great. And most of our donors, if not all of our donors, love the game. They love the brand. They want to be fans. They want to go to games. They want to be season ticket holders. Once in a while, you'll get guys who they like Lee Johnson, so they're going to give you a few bucks to help out the program. But most of the time, it's guys who love the brand and want to see great things come of it. And they're already giving. It's a natural. They already give tithing. It's a beautiful transition. It's really mind-blowing to think they're giving what they give in tithing in fast offerings, and now we come out. And they got other philanthropic endeavors, and now we come to them, and yet we continue to blow it out. It's beautiful to see.
Cougar Club has got a variety of levels for membership, and we've talked about that for years. We've lived that for years. But this is different for you. You're after these are folks giving serious cash. How valuable is that to a program? How needed is it?
It wouldn't happen if we didn't have the donors. Right. And I know there's the widow's mite, and there's the guys that really come and deliver, and we got to have both of them. And it's you got to have it, especially this day and age. Even though we are with a new Power 5 and we're making a lot more money, the expenses that come with it, and it just continues to get bigger and bigger. So we would not be able to function without donations. There's no doubt about it. And we do not take that tithing dollars. It's all separate. So that's what's really beautiful about it.
All right, one other question I have, and because you're good at this and you can answer, when you're sitting down in front of a family and they are considering a big gift for BYU, and you've got to close it. Because that's what you do. Is it a scenario of you telling them how much you would like them to give, or do they look at you and say, how much do you need?
Yeah, I rarely ask. I invite. I let them know what we're doing. I let them know what our needs are. And they typically just come through. And in a way, you kind of have to be careful in a way. And I've always said it, man, that the church And the prophet and those who speak have to be careful what they ask, because they'll give. They'll give. And it's similar in a way when there's a need in athletics. So, but most of the time we want to be able to offer something, an experience. We want to have them come in and experience the beauty of BYU, what it does, the impact it has on the athletes. And when they see that, when they experience that, then they have a desire to give, and sometimes give even more. So that's what we hope to accomplish.
That's great.
And to compete in this league, you have to have financial resources to be able to compete. You really do.
It's really unfortunate that is required when there's so many other needs with everywhere else out there. And you think, oh, we're going to give for athletics or whatever. But as far as building the brand, the people that know about BYU and that know about the church, athletics plays a massive role. When I was out playing in all my 18 years, they knew about Mormonism and the church and BYU through athletics. So I think we have a huge impact to have and be really driven to have a great athletic program at BYU.
And there's more impact when they're winning, and they're more visible when they're
Very
winning.
much. Yeah.
So here they go into year 2. First year, a little bit of growing pains moving in. Had some games that could have gone either way, that could have made a difference, and they could have gotten to a bowl. So what's your expectation as they make this jump into year 2? What would you label success this year?
Yeah, well, what I did like, we competed. Although we did get blown out in
couple of games.
Couple games we did not
Seemed
show
like we
up.
competed better than like
Virginia,
Texas, Oklahoma, and Texas. They played well. Oklahoma
Even
State.
Texas, though, until the fourth quarter, Oklahoma State. It's like we compete. We're able to compete. So I like the schedule, more favorable this year. Would you agree? Seems more favorable to us.
Definitely.
So I can definitely see 6 and 7 maybe, but we got to show up. Look, we got to execute. We got to play. I hate those phrases because it's so generic, but you really do. We've got the athletes, we got the players, we got the system. Can we execute? Can we show up week after week? And that's the biggest difference with being in the Big 12 versus independent. You got to show up week after week. So
we could show up 3 times. We had 4 to 5 games a year that we could just kind of show up and win.
Yeah, and we have a couple this year where we should not have a problem.
Right.
But for the most part, we got to show up and deliver.
We had more. The people are like, "Oh, you guys won 11 games every year." I'm like, "Yeah, we didn't play this schedule."
Yeah. True.
Right.
It's true. Big time.
Who are you starting at quarterback on August 31st?
I think Jake. He's got the edge. He's a fiery guy. He's a gunslinger. I like the way he plays. It's all ball control. It's all just not turn the ball over.
Right.
You cannot turn the ball over. I think he's dynamic. It seems to be a great leader. I don't know much about the other fellas, but going in, you have to go with Jake initially going in, unless something happens in fall camp and things change. But yeah, I like him. I like him.
And they have some of these people are like, well, why'd they bring these guys in? And I'm going, Hillstead's got 3 years left. Bourget has 3 years.
Yeah.
So some of these transfers they brought in are for the future.
Yeah.
And the future may come quick if something happens. But they have a bunch of quarterbacks, but they have some guys with some eligibility.
Yeah.
Not Gary and Jake. Jake's got 2 left.
He got 2 left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wrote an article in the Desert News last week on this notion of growing quarterbacks versus going to the store and shopping for them. And the portal has changed that.
Yeah.
And we just saw Ryder Burton, who was a homegrown guy for whatever reason. He's in the portal, and we go to the portal. We get Hillstead, who was another homegrown guy, but he started at Utah State. Do you think that that is the way that BYU will go? That's not the way BYU's been successful, but the game has changed so much where you can spend all the time in the world growing your own tomatoes, or you can just go to the store and buy 5 of them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what bums me out the most. I really do.
Think about the guys that we played with. You and I played with Jim McMahon, Steve Young, and Robbie Bosco.
Yeah.
And none of them actually were the guy until their junior year.
Yeah. Here's the problem. You get a kid who's phenomenal coming out, 5-star, 4-star, whatever. Yeah. He wants to start. If he doesn't start, he's frustrated. What does he do? He bails. Let's say he starts, plays 1 year. What happens? He bails because he gets more money. It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare scenario. So the days of that freshman coming in, to me, you're almost better off getting a junior who you have to pay a few bucks to and hope he'll play 2 years for you before you got to go back out shopping again. Yeah. It's a situation I don't like. I do not like. I love NIL. I love the fact that you can make money off of NIL. Collective, to me, is a bogus.
Can you imagine what Jimmer Fredette made? Would have made
big money.
If it was today when Jimmer was playing, going into his senior year when he came back, oh my goodness.
Crazy.
Millions.
We got to do something about the collective, though, guys. It's not NIL. Maybe you guys can prove me wrong, but how does that benefit? How does that offer anyone in NIL? No one's benefiting from it. No company's benefiting from it. It's a whole, to me, it's just a workaround thing that was created that, to me, that's the problem with, if Lee's Tire Shop all day long pay players to come, rep the brand, do their thing. You pay them, cut them a check. What's the collective? It's just, hey, come play. Here's your check. Good luck. Yeah. What else are they going to do? It frustrates me that has become what it's all about, and that to me is ruining the game. So I'm hoping going forward something happens.
Yeah, and I think we were talking. Who was I talking? So I was talking to a coach. Oh, it's somebody I shouldn't say who it is, but anyhow, he was just like, "There's more controls in the NFL and in the NBA. Like there's a draft, there's salary caps." It's just a free for all in college football right now, and they have to put some structure to it. He's like, I'm all about getting the players money. They deserve a share of it. Sure. But if there's no controls around it, then Miami can go and say to a 17-year-old freshman high school kid, we'll pay $1.8 million a year to come down. You've never played a college game, pay $1.8 million a year. And then he goes down there and they give him his 1.8, but he doesn't like it, and then he transfers to the team that pays him $2 million next year. Like that doesn't even happen in pro sports.
No, it doesn't.
So there's got to be some. I love the idea of these guys sharing in the revenue. There's got to be some structure around it, or it's going to ruin competition.
Figure it out. Let's just get it done.
Think how fast it's happened. I mean, just a couple of years ago, we had Jaron Hall backing up Zach Wilson and waiting for his chance to play. They're both in the NFL.
Both in the NFL.
That feels like it was yesterday because it kind of was.
I know.
And now it feels so far away from when you had two NFL guys on your roster playing quarterback.
Hey, they just gave Reggie Bush his Heisman Trophy back because they realized how ridiculous it looks. Because what he got, like walk-ons get right now.
Yeah.
Right?
That's crazy. Crazy stuff. You ready for 5 questions?
Yeah. Oh, boy.
Okay,
Lee Johnson's here with us on the Wise Guys.
So, no, these are
Are they the same ones that I just heard, or are they different?
There's some the same.
Oh,
we have a couple.
But it's all you.
You're trying to embarrass me, aren't you?
Your favorite sports movie?
Oh, come on. Remember the Titans. I know everyone's heard it.
That's mine. So you don't have to.
Hey,
You don't have to agree with
good.
him.
It's good.
It makes you cry.
You don't have to agree with him and
It's
Marie
good, it's good.
Osmond on Hoosiers.
Hoosiers are great.
Don't diss Hoosiers.
Yeah, your favorite
You
singer
don't
or
diss
band.
Hoosiers. Hoosiers are the best.
And I'm guessing it's not Snoop.
Singer band.
Well, Michael Jackson. Are you kidding me? Not even close. Rock and roll Boston.
Yeah. What about Shelley's?
Shelley? Oh, wow. You put me on the spot hard right now because she's listening.
MJ. MJ
You should know this.
No, it wouldn't be, and I should know it. I'm going to have to pivot real fast.
You don't know Shelley's?
She likes... Ooh, man.
Brenda's Tim McGraw all the way. No, I got to say this, though.
Babe, I love you.
I love you dearly. Brenda also loves Bon Jovi.
She's
Bon
gonna crush
Jovi
me.
and Tim
McCann,
McGraw.
you asked me that question.
Listen, I just thought it was just going to fly out. We'll come back to that
She's
one.
going to text me real quick.
Hey, Shelley.
It's like Journey
Shelley,
or something.
Lee
That Journey?
Yeah, she loves Journey.
Lee doesn't know your favorite band. Just saying. So.
Boy.
Let's swing
Okay.
swing
Billy
back.
Joel. Billy Joel.
Okay.
Oh, that's
Billy
right.
Joel. I love you, babe.
Okay.
I'll sing you a song.
Yeah. She's always a woman to me. That's
We need a piano in
Only a
here.
woman to me.
There he
Okay,
goes.
let's
Lee
go
and I
to
used
the
to
next
sing in the locker room. Your favorite breakfast cereal?
Oh, Frosted Flakes. But I'm trying to go
You're trying to be healthy.
Frosted, the all-American cereal made from golden wheats. Whoa, then.
What is that?
Frosted mini wheats.
Frosted.
Interesting.
Do you know that Danny Ainge told us he eats just the, like not frosted mini wheats, like just
Regular
shredded
And
wheat.
Michelle makes
Shredded
them do
wheat.
that.
Yeah, I used to eat that. Love that.
You have to put
gotta put a
5
sugar-
tablespoons of
you do.
sugar on it to
Yeah,
make
you
it taste
do.
decent.
Remember that? They came in biscuits, and you would crunch them up.
Like my thing on that is why not just go over in the yard and just start eating grass?
All I know is
Might as well.
you can leave here and drive past that pasture down there. They're eating shredded wheat.
They're eating
tonight.
shredded wheat. Just eat it. Like if you're not going to put the frosted on it, forget it. So
Shredded wheat.
Your favorite punt in your career?
Oh, my favorite punt in my career. Well, Super Bowl record was a great punt, but it rolled. So
There's nothing wrong with a rolling punt.
there isn't. But the biggest bomb was I was with the Patriots after I got released by Cincinnati.
Okay.
I go back to
Here we
Cincinnati.
go. Yeah,
It's
this is
the brand new
revenge punt.
stadium.
This is the revenge punt.
This is the new stadium. I feel bad or badly, one of the two, for saying what I said. The reason why I got released, you maybe.
Oh, yeah,
I
that's
remember
right. You said some stuff.
It was ugly. It was really ungrateful of me. So I went and talked to the management right before the game. But in that game,
But hey, just to make a long story shorter, some things were said about how the team was being run
yes,
after years of being on a lousy team.
yeah, 11 years of being lousy. We're
So
0
now-
and
so now
whatever.
you're back with
yeah,
another
now
team.
I'm back. I get released. I come back to play the first time in the new stadium, and I pop an 80-yarder, and it was heavenly. It was wonderful.
And you ran off the sideline
I was
feeling what?
feeling pretty good.
And you had one of those one-bar helmets
I
too,
did.
right?
What an embarrassing
Why
thing.
did you do that?
It was
You
an
know what?
exclamation
No,
point.
by then I had a double bar.
You'd had
my
a double
early
one?
days, yeah, it was just what they did. It's what kickers did. Yeah.
We grew up, we grew up as Cowboy fans. We did not like Billy Kilmer. The lone reason was his one-bar helmet.
Jurgensen.
And then Theismann came after that with a one-bar.
Yeah.
We just hated it.
And the problem with me for Billy Kilmer and Sonny Jurgensen was they
Their
were
whole
really, really
faces
good.
out
They were
there.
both like 45 pounds overweight playing quarterback in the NFL. It's like, come on.
The
believe
one
that?
bar. Did Chaffetz
It
try
was
to do the
hideous.
one bar?
Yeah,
Did
he have it?
I don't know if he did not. His helmet was never on long enough.
Yeah. Did he? I can't remember.
I used to try to convince people I play quarterback. Quarterback has to have really great athletes. Well, what about Billy Kilmer and Sonny Jurgensen? Yeah, you're right. Never mind.
All right, Patriots was the favorite punt.
Your favorite BYU moment ever?
Oh, man.
It doesn't even have to be football.
Well,
it can be anything.
I think my favorite BYU moment was SMU. Clay Brown, McMahon Clay Brown.
Yeah, that's
So
right.
where were you when that happened?
I was playing in the game. I was kicking off. I kicked the onside kicks in that game.
Nice.
Yeah.
Had two successful. One, I was an embarrassment. But yeah, I was a freshman.
So are you on the 30-yard line? What you're watching hit the Hail Mary? What was your vantage point?
Yeah, I was on the side, the 30-yard line on the side of the field that was the play was caught, the ball was caught.
Oh, nice.
And it was crazy. Yeah, did you watch a game?
I was 12. We're at a Deacon's Corn party.
You were 12.
Did you
Absolutely.
witness? Did you witness Lavelle trying to send were you the punt team out when Jim said no, we're not punting?
I saw it, but I didn't witness the verbiage,
I
which you probably did.
I would like to have heard that.
So when that ball's mid-flight, and we Blaine was there for that one too, but we were at the Nebraska one in the end zone.
Oh, yeah.
I was there on the inline.
Yeah. And the
That's
ball's
right. You were right across the field from
Right
us.
there.
ball's in flight, and we're talking to ourselves going, man, this stuff never happens to us except for that one time. And then Matthews caught it, and we had another time.
What was that?
So the ball's in the air in San Diego, and Clay Brown's down there. Are you thinking we even got a shot?
No. Well, we had scored 3 touchdowns in 2.5 minutes.
It's crazy. And people forget, like, didn't Bills block a punt too, Shefflin?
They did.
Yeah.
Like everything that had to happen happened. It was nuts.
It was remarkable. That was back when we were never out of a game. Ever.
No.
We were always in games.
That's back when if the other team happened to score to go up by 5, and we looked up the scoreboard and like, are they idiots?
Yeah.
They just left 2:10 on the clock. We'll win for sure now.
It's amazing.
Like you just thought,
It was so fun.
if we're within a score of winning and there's 2 minutes on the clock, we will never lose a game ever.
So
That's just what we believed.
Years
so true.
later,
You're right, in belief.
I'm a sports anchor in Vegas, and Ron Meyer is a casino host at Arizona Charlie's.
Oh, wow.
Ron Meyer.
Ron Meyer. And I
SMU
go over
Ron Meyer.
SMU after they got
SMU's
the
Ron
death
Meyer.
penalty.
Who recruited me?
I go, okay, we'll get to that in a second. I go to his office. We're doing a story. He was involved with, I think, the Las Vegas Wranglers of the USFL, of the Canadian Football League. Anyway, I'm in his office, and he's got a team picture of that team up there. There's 79-80.
Yeah, that's
SMU team with Dickerson,
Eric Dickerson
and James.
Craig James, and that whole crew.
Anyway, and so
Pony
I'm
Express.
I'm sitting there looking at him, and I, of course, have to ask. I go, hey, remember that one time? And then he knew I was a BYU guy. He said, that was the worst night of my life. He goes, he was mad that somebody thought was a fumble. It wasn't a fumble, and this, it wasn't getting called, this and that. And he goes, but then we just blew it.
Wow. And he is the reason why they got the death penalty, right?
Yeah.
Well,
Dickerson,
Him and his guys.
The crew.
I mean, like,
Yeah.
like
Did he ever come back after that?
Here's the funny thing.
We're playing him. Did he come back?
Did Meyer, was he done coaching after that?
I think he was. I think his last run was with the Las Vegas team in the Canadian.
He was done with
Football
college.
League.
I
I'm
will
pretty
say
sure.
this though,
Yeah.
all the stuff that he was
no one's
doing with
hiring him back.
Dickerson
Yeah.
and all those guys, that'd be nothing compared to right now in NIL.
Right now, it'd be going. This is all.
Yeah.
This NIL.
Yeah.
Here's what we have to, Ron Myers, Jerry Tarkanian with
Tarkanian would be a
UNLV.
hero.
Yeah.
They were just ahead of their time. They were just ahead of their
They've
time.
been brown bagging for years.
Jerry remember. Did we remember those days? Dave was, he was assembling the best teams money could buy. But it just wasn't legal back then.
Jerry was
legal
amazing.
now.
It is.
He always, if he ever comes back from the dead,
Was
the
he a
first
cool
thing
guy?
he's going to do
That
is
one UNLV
he was always
team-
nice to me.
Was he?
That one
Always nice to me.
UNLV team had. We always say, hey, if you got 2 NBA guys on the team, like you can win a national title. I think all 5 of the starting 5 on that UNLV team started in the NBA. At one time.
Remarkable. Yeah.
At least 4 did. At least 4, and then Anderson Hunt might have. He came back a year later.
I think Anderson, but if you think about it, it was Greg Anthony, Anderson Hunt. It was
Stacey
Stacey
Augmon,
Larry Johnson, and George
Ackles.
Ackles. I think they all started at least a game in the NBA.
Kind of like UConn's starting 5 all went going in the draft.
That just doesn't happen.
Doesn't
very often.
happen.
Well, it's going to happen now. It's going to happen again this year. And that's why they killed everybody.
That's why they just rolled. So.
Wow.
Right. Hey, thanks for coming on the show.
So fun, you guys.
Awesome to have
you
you
guys
on.
are so talented. Love listening to you guys. You guys are the best.
Look forward to seeing you at practice. And if you want to donate any big gifts, how do they get a hold of you?
Oh, man, just call BYU Cougar Club or, just
ask for
contact
Lee.
the Cougar
Tell
Club.
them Dave and Blaine sent you.
Yeah, say, hey, Dave and Blaine said I need to talk to Lee.
You better believe
and
it.
we'll do it.
Then he bring up that 80-yard punt with the
Robbie,
Patriots.
talk to Lee.
Anytime, yeah. Come on down, we'll do tours, whatever. It's great.
Give
Thanks, you
Shelly
guys.
our best,
I will.
and we're going with Billy Joel on that.
Love it. We better, yeah.
It better be
I'm
Billy
going to catch
Joel.
it tonight. I'm in trouble, fellas.
Oh, man.
You got.
Shelly,
If you're right, you're good.
I'm good. Just the fact that I questioned, though, I might be in trouble.
Lee Johnson.
Thanks, LJ.
Thank you, guys.
Good to see you,
Fantastic to have him here. Great stories. Hey, by the way, speaking of the next football thing, that Fan Fest is coming up in Phoenix on May 18th, Gilbert Regional Park.
Oh, that's right.
11 to 1, Kalani, Players, Cosmo, Cougarettes, BYU Store. You can buy my book, C is for Cougar, at that thing. Cougar Tales. BYU TV Sports Nation will be live there for an hour. Football team will be back in Arizona the week before Thanksgiving to take on Arizona State.
Yeah, I talked to Kalani. We were just talking out on the street right after the Dallas Fan Fest, and he just talked about how great it was. Like he said,
I know it was windy, and that was kind of a bummer.
But he's like, the fans were just great. So they look forward to that. The support is amazing. So if you got time, make sure you get to the Arizona one. And then Kalani's looking for an SMU stadium takeover by BYU fans.
That's going to be a little more challenging because SMU is going to be like the top 25.
Yeah, they're a good football team, and they're in the ACC now. So
we got to get in there.
Well, and then he wants to take over at Arizona State too.
That is possible.
Yeah, he wants to take over at ASU.
That because the Cougar fans are already buying tickets there. That SMU stadium isn't that gigantic.
It's not that big.
And
it's a beautiful facility though.
They're motivated. That's going to be a cool Friday night ESPN Fox game.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We need to convince to take game day on the road for that one.
Yeah, that one's early too.
Yeah, let's do it.
I was going to ask Lee, but because we were talking about earlier, thinking of that Southern Illinois game on August 31st. I mean, it's Southern Illinois. Now, Southern Illinois can come and beat anybody and all that stuff if they catch it right. But the amount of pressure on the football team on that night, under the lights with the new quarterback, or at least the fixed quarterback situation. We're going to run the ball this year. We're not. We have to be, because that was the focus. Who are these new guys on defense? Don't you get the feeling that there'll be more pressure on that one for Cougar Nation, for the team to go, hey, we exercised our demons. We're good. As opposed to 14-0 win against Sam Houston last year, where we kind of thought, well, it's first game, this and that. But that was really the revealer that there would be trouble.
Yeah, my projection is they're going to run Southern Illinois out of the building.
Yeah,
it's not even.
And that's what we expect. And so then it kind of have to, or there's going to be this. I would hope that Aaron Roderick would get 63 points that night, just so he can feel good.
And what makes me think that I felt that way ever since we talked to Darius last year.
Yeah.
When he talked about, and LJ as well. Remember when we had him in, and they both said, yeah, we had all these transfers on offense last year, and we didn't even know what we were. We were just learning. Like, we'd make a call and we'd look at each other, and then when you asked Darius, you're like, is that different? It's like, oh yeah, I know everywhere I'm supposed to be. I know what everybody else is supposed to do. LJ's like, yeah, I know where I'm supposed to go. We're going to be better up front. Those two interviews, and if you haven't seen those interviews, go to wiseguys.com and go pull up Darius Laster and LJ. That changed my mindset. I'm like, oh, you know what? They're going to take a big step forward. The defense is going to take a step forward because this is the second year in this defense, and they brought some dudes in.
Yeah, this
Jack Kelly is going to be. But to me, the big question is, are they really going to be better on offense?
Yeah.
And that gave me some confidence. Those two interviews gave me some confidence that just understanding what they're supposed to do better is going to make a big difference.
Yeah, and I think what basketball's doing in the meantime, something almost every day with basketball, and there's still going to be 3 more assistants hired, and scheduling and some of that stuff will come out. That's going to cover the next month and a half, give or take. And then the drums will start beating, and the countdown to August 31st will come. And I wrote a story today about it. Despite all that's going on, football's the king.
Yeah.
And the king is returning on August 31st, and it gets more attention, it gets more money, it gets more judgment.
Right.
It's just big. And I have a feeling that night's going to be, there'll be a lot of anxiety going into that one.
Well, and here's the thing, like the preseason, and we've talked about this, It's no picnic going up to play Wyoming and Laramie.
No.
And they've been pretty good. And they give teams a hard time, really good teams at their place. Now, BYU has the advantage of we also train at 5,000 feet elevation.
Right.
So we're not going to 7,000 feet and feeling like we can't breathe, like if you come up from the coast, you know. So so we're used to that. And they've played them in the past. They played them in a bowl game not that long ago. So it's not quite the same. I expect them to win that. SMU's good on the road.
Yeah. We're going to have to be good
they score a lot
to
of
win
points.
that game.
Yeah, they're going to have to play really well to win the SMU.
And then the Big 12's
Then
next.
it goes. Then it goes. I have to feel like by the game 3, they've got things figured out, though. So
Hey, let's do some campus notes.
Yeah, for sure.
As we head down the home stretch on this Great Wise Guys. Fantastic guest tonight. We hope you've enjoyed it. Baseball is 18-26. They're 6-18 in the Big 12. It's been a learning experience this year. They beat Miami 8-2 on Saturday to avoid the sweep in South Florida. Utah Valley's tomorrow, weather permitting, because it's sweatshirt weather around. It snowed. It snowed here today.
Can you believe it?
Here in Provo, but they're going to try at 6 o'clock on ESPN Plus tomorrow night, 6 o'clock Mountain Time. And then Thursday through Friday, Cincinnati's here at 6 Mountain Time, and Saturday at 1 p.m. That's a Big 12 series. It's the last Big 12 series at home for the team. Gary and I will have the call on ESPN Plus. Freshman Kahio Aloy named the Big 12 Newcomer of the Week today, which is cool. 4 games last week. He had 10 hits, a couple of home runs, a couple of big ones. And we'll see Kahio later this week against Cincinnati or tomorrow, depending on how the weather goes. Now, softball, they're peaking at just the right time.
Yeah, they're really starting to play well. 30-22 overall. They're 11-16 in conference play. And they just swept Kansas and Lawrence with a great performance. The Big 12 standings right now, Texas is 1. Oklahoma 2, Oklahoma State 3, Baylor 4, Central Florida 5, and BYU's number 6.
That's pretty good, I think.
Yeah, that's not bad first year in. And the Big 12 championships, Wednesday, the first round, Kansas versus Houston, Texas Tech versus Iowa State. Then Thursday, because BYU goes into the quarterfinals, so Thursday, quarterfinals, number 3 Oklahoma State versus number 6 BYU at 10 a.m. And that's Mountain Time on the Big 12 now on ESPN Plus. So Oklahoma State was 2-1 versus BYU this year. The Cougars are ranked number 4 in the top 25. Or the Cowgirls are ranked number 4 in the top 25.
And the new poll comes out tomorrow. They might even be higher.
Yeah. Then the winner, they get the great honor.
Congratulations.
To face 3-time defending national champ and number 2 ranked Oklahoma on Friday.
And if they win that one, they're probably going to face number 1 ranked Texas.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But you know what? If you get Oklahoma State, suddenly an at-large bid is in play.
And if they can play the way they just played in this sweep against Kansas,
why not?
They can beat Oklahoma State. Now, Oklahoma and Texas, that's a little different.
It's probably not going to happen.
Yeah.
Let's just focus on Thursday.
That's exactly right.
That can happen, but they'll have to play really good to do it. Oklahoma State just went in and took the series at Oklahoma for like the first time in a bunch of years.
Is this the best this league has been in terms of depth in years? It feels like that to me in softball. So,
and you know, the good news is Texas and Oklahoma, they're leaving after this year.
Thank goodness.
It'll be nice. Track and field, the Big 12 championships start Thursday in Waco, Texas. Both the men's and women's team ranked number 25 heading in.
Yeah, and men's volleyball, a team embarked on its overseas trip today with stops in Portugal, Spain, Turkey. They're going to compete along the way. The trip runs through May 18th. This is when the team bonds and really gets to know each other.
And then the women are now number 2 all-time in NCAA history with 1,401 victories, just ahead of UCLA and just behind Nebraska.
That's crazy, isn't it?
That's a lot of wins. And you know what? A lot of folks have seen those at the Smith Fieldhouse.
Yeah.
There's more to come.
There you go. Men's golf, NCAA Austin Regional is May 13th through 15th. BYU's in that. We'll be in that. We'll keep
kind of surprised they got in there. They got some great players, and they were leading the Big 12 championships after the first day, and then the wheels came off.
Yeah. So,
but now they got a shot. You do enough there, then you're in the. They're in the show.
Hey, you just got to get hot at the right time.
Get in the show. Yeah. Get hot. Women's tennis, they got hot. They got to the NCAA tournament for the first time in 17 years, ran into Auburn.
Yeah.
And that was that, but they had a great year. The
cool
head coach was here with us.
First time in 17 years to the tournament. They had some big wins in conference play.
That is great.
And you know what teams are finding in the league? it's not an easy thing for them to come up to elevation and play BYU at home. BYU's really good at home this year. So that's fun.
They're going to be better next year. That sounds like they've got that figured out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
On this day, May 6th, we love doing this at the end of our shows. We know there's the podcast, and when you might hear this podcast, it's no longer Monday, but just roll with us because on this day, May 6th, as we're live on our live stream.
Let's start with 1837 when the John Deere Company creates the first steel plow. That was a big deal.
Did that not change America?
It was created in Grand Detour, Illinois.
What did that do for farming?
Changed the world.
Changed the world. 1915 on this day, Babe Ruth hits his first career home run for the Red Sox. Remember, he was a Red Sox before a Yankee. And he was playing the Yankees and got beat 4-3.
That was before the curse of the Bambino.
The curse wasn't there yet.
So, 1956, former Jazz coach Jerry Sloan was selected 4th overall by the Baltimore Bullets in the NBA draft.
Do you remember the Baltimore Bullets were then the Washington Bullets?
Right.
And then they got rid of the Bullets.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
They're like,
it was too dangerous.
There's too many shootings around here. We can't do the Bullets.
The greatest Washington Bullet of all time, Wes Unseld.
Then they came up with the Wizards.
Yeah, the Wizards. I don't even know what that is.
1998, on this day, I watched this on WGN. Cubs pitcher Kerry Wood ties the major league record with 20 strikeouts against the Astros. He allowed 1 hit, no walks, and it was just his 5th start. And we thought, hey, we may never lose again, but then we lost a lot.
Yeah, of course. Like that's your team, I know. Hey, how about 2004? Because this was a big day.
A lot of people
and I remember
this.
The last episode of Friends aired on NBC. 52.5 million viewers watched that last episode.
I don't even remember how it ended, but I think I watched it.
Yeah. Your top 3 sitcoms are what?
Seinfeld, Cheers, and MASH.
I
watched Unfrosted, by the way, the other night, Jerry Seinfeld's new show, and it was okay, not great. And then I watched it again, and it was funnier the second time, kind of like Seinfeld episodes. So if you thought it was kind of lame the first time, give it a second shot. And if it's still lame the second time, then it's lame. But it was different. It wasn't what I thought, but it still got some moments. So those are my top 3 sitcoms we were thinking. Seinfeld, Cheers, which is a classic, and MASH, which was awesome for all those years. Today's kids won't remember MASH, but I remember it because it came on after the 10 o'clock news.
I'm gonna go with MASH with my number 1.
Okay.
Because we watched that as a family all the time. I'm gonna go way old school, and I'm gonna go with Gilligan's Island for my number 2.
Okay, good.
As I watched that after school all the time, and then it was a toss up between my newer Seinfeld, which I love, or I Dream of Jeannie, which is also old school. So I'm gonna go tie for 3rd between an old one, I Dream of Jeannie, and Seinfeld for my number 3.
So as a MASH aficionado, did you like Frank Burns or Winchester III?
No, I like Frank Burns.
Yeah, I think everyone did.
So,
and I liked Colonel Blake over Colonel Potter.
His weird relationship with Hot Lips Houlihan.
We never really got the full skinny on that, but there was something going on there.
Yes.
All right, May 6th birthdays. Born on this day over the course of time.
Yeah, 1856. Sigmund Freud, the father of psychology.
Yeah. Have we thought the same since?
No.
1931, Willie Mays. Born on
His
this day.
His basket catches out in the outfield and center field, man. 1945, Bob Seger.
What's your favorite Bob Seger song?
You put Down on Main Street.
Yeah, I like that one. There's the old time rock and roll.
Give me old
from
time
the Tom Cruise
rock and roll. Yeah, I'd have to say that's
like that one? He's got some good ones. 1961, George Clooney. What was his best movie? He's in a lot.
Yeah. Any of the Oceans are good with me.
I like the first Ocean's 11.
The Ocean's 11 is your favorite one?
I just, when that one's on too, you kind of just stop and go, okay, where are we at in this movie?
Yeah.
I thought he was good there.
He and Brad Pitt together are a good combo. And throw Julia Roberts in, and you got to win. I'm going to go with Ocean's 11. I'm with you on that one. I agree with that.
May 6th, those who passed away on May 6th, 1862, Henry David Thoreau.
Did he write Why I Went to the Woods? I think he did. The great poet.
Is that what it was called? Why I Went to the Woods?
Yeah, I think
Into the Woods.
Into the Woods. I don't remember. But 2023, Vida Blue.
I remember
passed away. Yeah, 6-time All-Star pitcher. Yeah, he was something.
Our Wise Guys inspirational quote of the week is from the late Henry David Thoreau.
Yeah, so here we go. Every oak tree started out as a couple of nuts who stood their ground.
It's kind of like us.
There you go. So it's good stuff.
Every oak tree. Think about all those oak trees Started out as just a couple of nuts.
Stood their ground. Yep.
So season premiere of After Further Review is just around the corner, July 30th.
Can't even believe it.
12 weeks from tomorrow. Get your vacation time in on BYU TV.
Yeah. Great guest tonight. Thanks to Brody Kowski for joining us, Jim Evans, and Lee Johnson. Love it. Great
Next
guest.
week, developer and BYU fan Brandon Fugel's going to be with us. I don't know if he'll give us some real estate tips or not. We could
tune in. You might
cover
get
the
some.
variety
His name's
of things.
on every sign in town.
Yeah,
so.
I know it. We're going to ask him about that too.
Yeah.
And Micah Harper is going to join us. He's getting ready, coming off that knee injury. He's got his undergrad. He's in the business school now, and lots to talk about with Micah Harper in the Marriott MBA program.
And remember, before the season started, everybody's really high. BYU's 2 starting safeties are both like maybe all Big 12 material, and they both got hurt before the first game.
Like that.
So just like that, they were backup. So we get him back, and
yeah, I'm looking forward to our visit. I saw him at the baseball game the other day, and he looks like he's older, he's stronger. He just looks like he's ready to go.
He's going to be ready to roll. It'll be fun.
Podcast will be up tomorrow. Please share it with your friends. Like us on YouTube and Facebook and Twitch. And we sure appreciate our interactions on the live stream and with our great guests. It's good to have the band back together.
Yep, back together after a 2-week hiatus.
And we'll rest up and gear up and be back next week.
You doing Sports Nation the rest of this week at all?
No, but I got 4 baseball games.
Oh, you got 4 baseball games. I'm not on. I was on earlier, but not the rest of this week. So we'll see you next Tuesday.
Nice.
Then.
All right.
They'll see you on baseball and me next Tuesday.
Sounds good. Thanks, everybody.
Or next Monday.
Monday, because we used to be on Tuesday.
That's right. See you next Monday, y'all.
Now we're on Monday. See ya.